Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Popcorn Podcast with myself, Jack Logan, and my co-host, Fergus Clark. How you
It's
doing,
me.
Fergus?
Hello. I'm pretty good. You forgot someone.
And, of course, Nicolas Cage.
No.
Oh.
I can't. Mickey's on. You can't see him, but he is there.
Oh, is your
He's
cat
on.
there?
Yeah, he's on the bed. You can't.
Bro.
Maybe if I. You can see his head.
Hi, Mickey, is that his name?
Yeah, Mickey. Yeah. He
Hi,
might.
Hi, Mickey.
He might pop up later on.
Named after a famous mouse, by any chance?
Nope.
Named after Rosie's boyfriend in Doctor Who?
No. No, definitely not. No, not after them allegations.
just a random name pick.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, yeah. I mean, he was named that when we got him, so
Oh, okay, sure. Could
Yeah.
have been named after a famous mouse then.
probably was.
You never
yeah.
know. You never know. Okay, so
Uh,
it's been a while, Fergus.
Oh yeah, it has not for those at home, but
Not for those at home, but for
for
us.
those not on the know, Jack's just come back from his holidays. How are your holidays, Jack?
My holidays were good. I promised you that I'd phone you from the local hero phone
You
box,
did. I was
and then-
disappointed.
and then never went to the place where local hero was filmed.
Yeah, I seen you sent us a snap into the group chat where you're like, oh, it's a town from local hero, and you're like on a boat or something. I was like, oh, okay, I'll
Yeah.
get ready for a phone call, and then that never happened.
No, we passed it. We went on like a wee boat trip and we passed it. So I was like, oh, I'll show Mark and Fergus Pennon where local heroes filmed.
Yeah, and then when you were driving back, you got frighteningly close to where I live.
Yes, we
too
got
close
very,
for
I got
comfort.
very close to where you live.
Mm.
I did say to mum and dad, I was like, "Do you think we could swing by? I could pop in and say hello." They were like, "No, we're going home."
We got a good little, to be fair.
Oh,
So
I should
should
went
have
just
stopped
for
up
that.
there. Yeah, honestly, it's
Yeah.
great.
But yeah, my holidays were good. Very relaxing. The only thing I don't like about holidays, and all my friends know this, and it's a weird thing about me, is whenever I leave my house, I can't sleep. Like
Mm,
I can only sleep in my own bed. Like
that's
it's just
interesting.
it's a weird thing that I've got.
Mm.
But I actually slept well on my holiday, which was a
Good.
nice change.
Did you take your bed with you? Is that why?
Yes, exactly, Fergus.
That's good thinking.
I took everything in my room with me.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, I got to take
Yeah.
the Lego castle and Home
Yeah,
Alone
just
and the Michael Myers mask.
exactly. I ripped that mural of Kylo Ren down.
Yeah.
And just put it back up.
No, because what people at home don't know is that your whole room is just in the back of a trailer, so you can just take it with you wherever you go.
Yeah. This is just a setup for the podcast.
Yeah.
I don't sleep in here.
Oh no, of course.
No,
Me neither. I don't sleep here. No, I would never think of
No. These are just little setups for us.
it. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we've got a lot of films to catch up. We'll have people in the comments now actually thinking that we're being serious.
Oh yeah, no, we are though. Remember?
Yeah, we are.
This is all on the set. This is on a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Warner Brothers lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There'll be like tours going to the popcorn podcast set.
So yeah, we've got a lot of films to catch up on. Well,
Yeah.
you certainly do.
Oh yeah, because I've been missing Jack so much. I've been watching films to fill the void. You know.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
No, we've got a lot of films to get through, and we got a lot to get through in the main topic of this video. So we're gonna try and speedrun this for you because we know we ramble quite a bit. We do ramble a lot. We do like half-hour, 40-minute quick catch-ups.
Yeah, we've
So
done 5 minutes on the intro, Fergus.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll do this quickly. Okay, so I've been to the cinema twice whilst you were away.
Nice.
First time went to see Kinds of Kindness, new Yorgos Lanthimos film.
I want to see it. I want to see it
Very
so
good.
badly. Yeah.
But I think the only film you've seen from him is Poor Things, and you started The Favorite, right?
I don't know why I didn't finish The Favorite. I started The Favorite and just never got round to it. It's sitting on Disney Plus with like an hour to go or something.
Yeah, you should finish it. It's a good
I was
film.
really enjoying it. That's the weird thing. Like I was actually having a good time, and yeah, I just
I
forgot
think-
about it.
The thing with Kinds of Kindness is, if those are only films of his that you've seen, you should watch some of his earlier stuff because it's a lot more reminiscent of it in terms of
Okay.
stylistically. It's more like Killing of a Sacred Deer or The Lobster.
Okay. Okay.
Because
I,
the favorite and Perfings are quite different compared to his normal style of filmmaking.
yeah,
I think.
I was going to say like I couldn't actually have told you. What was it? Killing of a Sacred Deer? Is that the name of
Yeah,
it?
Killing of a Sacred
I
Deer.
I could not have told you that was even a film. Never mind a
It's a
film
great
directed
film.
by him. Yeah.
Barry Keoghan,
Ah,
Colin
okay.
Farrell, Nicole Kidman.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
mother of AMC cinema.
you're getting me more interested.
Yeah,
I'm
I won't
invested.
spoil anything about that one, but it
Okay.
is worth watching. I think it's on Netflix. It might not be anymore, but when I watched it, it was on Netflix.
Is your favorite film by him Poor Things?
Perfings is my favorite, and then Dogtooth. But
Okay.
Dogtooth is quite disturbing.
Okay.
It's not one I would easily recommend, but it is a good movie.
Sounds it.
Yeah, it's about like this family where like the dad keeps them all in the house and they can never leave, and he teaches them all sorts of weird things. Like when they see an airplane fly by, there's a chance that it could fall into the garden, and then they get to fight over who gets to keep it, and then they get a little toy airplane, and they're told that it fell out of the sky into the garden. It's a very abusive situation, as a matter of
Sounds
fact.
like a laugh-a-minute comedy,
Oh
Fergus.
yeah, it is a bit of a black comedy, but it's
Yeah.
really disturbing, I think.
Yeah. I
But
might check that
anyways,
out.
Kindness of Kindness was really good. And
Yep.
I wasn't expecting to get another film from him so soon because there's usually a couple of years in between them. But Poor
I
Things just
was
came out a couple months ago.
I was surprised when I saw the trailer in the cinema, and I was like,
Mm,
Yorgos Lanthimos is doing another movie? Like,
yeah,
what?
and if it was like coming out at the end of a year, even that would make more sense. But
Yeah.
when Poor Things just came out, is I'm not complaining.
Also, I'll say this. That is how you do a trailer for a movie.
Oh, the trailer was so good.
Trailer was sick. And I'm like,
Mm,
we need more trailers like that where it doesn't really show you what it's about,
yeah,
but
for
still
sure.
gets you invested. The only other trailer I remember being like that in recent years, and even though I didn't love the movie, was Nope. The trailers
Sure.
for Nope were great.
Yeah, brilliant.
But yeah, trailers nowadays. Like, I just watched the trailer for Gladiator 2,
Mm,
and I was like, this is telling me so much. Like, I know you
mm.
want to get me invested in the story, but just show me what to expect rather than give me
Yeah,
the full plot of the movie in a trailer.
yeah, exactly. And even beyond trailers, and usually this isn't the studio's fault, but when leaks come out about films, I think like why do people want to know so much about it before it comes out? You know, like
Yeah,
they're filming the new Superman film right now, and there's a lot
yeah,
of leaks, like photos from behind the scenes coming out, and I'm like, why can't we just wait until we get trailers and that start speculating about all this? You
exactly.
know,
Like I saw an interview with Ruth Jones, who does Gavin and Stacey, because they're
Gavin
doing
Stacey.
another episode.
Mm.
And apparently she's been getting so many like people coming up to her and being like, "Oh, what happens in the Gavin and Stacey final episode?" And she's like, "You don't actually want me to tell you. You're
Yeah,
asking me. You don't want to know." Like,
yeah,
if I
exactly. Yeah.
if I turned around and told you exactly what was going to happen, you would look at me with like anger in your eyes.
Mm.
Like, it's just yeah, it's just mad. I don't get leaks for
No, me
stuff like
neither.
that.
I see when No Way Home was coming out, I wasn't really on any social media at that point. Like I was on a couple things, but not regularly. I wasn't getting a lot of updates on films. So I was
Yeah,
kind of out of this whole Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire thing are gonna be in it. I was like, they might be, but I don't know for sure. And then when they showed up, it was really exciting. But if I'd known they were gonna be in it, it'd be lame as shit.
yeah, definitely. I feel like the thing with Marvel though is so many fake leaks come out that you don't
Mm,
actually know what to expect.
yeah, that's true.
I remember when Multiverse of Madness came out, that was like so much like shit going around. I
Yeah,
can't even remember all that stuff, but it was people were saying, "Oh, it's the biggest Marvel movie, bigger than Endgame," like
yeah,
all this mad stuff, and I'm like, it was fairly big. I had the X-Men in it and stuff, but like,
yeah. Mr. Fantastic.
yeah, but like this, I'm pretty sure it was like, oh, Tom Cruise is going to be in it playing Iron Man
That's right. Yeah.
from, and I'm like, bro, like what? But I think
Yeah.
because so many fake leaks come out about Marvel, like it actually
Mm,
kind of makes it a bit more exciting because you actually don't know what to expect when you
yeah.
actually. Well, nowadays you watch the movie and you expect trash, but back
Well,
then,
that's true. I think,
um,
even though it's a film I'm not particularly excited to watch, I think the Deadpool 3 trailers are doing pretty well at keeping things hidden because they
yeah,
show Wolverine's character Patch in one scene at like a casino. We only show the
Mm.
back of him, so we don't know for sure it's going to be Hugh Jackman playing him, that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
guess the only big reveal I can think of in them trailers is like the big Ant-Man skull that they show.
Yeah, yeah, that was interesting. And going into the kind of Doctor Strange looking portal
That's
thing.
right, yeah.
Have you heard the rumors about that, Fergus?
No.
People are saying that's going to take them into Endgame, and they're going
Oh.
to be in the Endgame final battle. Do you remember the portal scene?
Oh, Whoopi. Oh,
Yay!
boy. That'll
We're
be great.
calling back to Endgame because it was the last successful
Yay!
Marvel movie.
Yeah,
Yay!
that's right, yeah.
um,
Howard the Duck was in that scene, I remember, in the
yeah,
original
if you
film.
if you pause it, you see Howard the Duck,
Yeah,
which is
that's
great.
knowledge I've retained from my Marvel days,
Yeah.
which are
So
sadly behind me. But anyway,
Kinds
of
of
Kindness was really good. God, we're
Yeah.
trying to keep this brief, and we just had a 5-minute ramble about Marvel films.
Yeah.
Kinds of Kindness was really good.
Yep.
3 different stories. I think the second one was probably my least favorite, but it was still pretty enjoyable. The
Okay.
first one was the best one, I'd say. Jesse Plemons
Okay.
was really good in that.
Okay.
Great actor, by the way.
Emma Stone's in it, right?
Yeah, she's in all 3 of them as well.
Oh, okay. That's
But the
interesting.
third one is kind of her story.
And all 3 playing the same character.
No, different characters in each one.
Okay.
It was
Okay,
weird.
that's interesting.
I don't know if you've seen the marketing for it, but they were really hyping up Hunter Schafer being in it,
Hmm.
and then she was literally in one scene for like 2 minutes
Yeah,
in
movies
one
do that,
story.
man.
Yeah, I know, but it was kind of annoying. I was really expecting her to have like a big role in it,
Yeah.
but no, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Um,
Literally.
Oh yeah, oh god, I was going to do this really quickly. And then the other day I went back to the cinema. As you can see, I got a Minions popcorn bucket, which is pretty fucking epic if you ask me. And also you can see
Yep.
my Minions Happy Meal toy beside it, which is also pretty
Yep.
fucking epic.
Yep.
And I watched not Despicable Me 4.
Oh, I thought that's where you were going with that.
No. I wanted to give a Despicable Mix collector's combo for a laugh.
Yes. Obviously.
Whilst I was watching The Mummy, 1999, starring Brendan
The
Fraser.
Mummy was in cinema.
Yeah, they re-released it, 25th anniversary.
Cool. Not
So,
seen The
yeah.
Mummy in years.
Me and Chair and my friend Botty from the Brendan Fraser fan club. Don't ask. The Brendan Fraser fan club. We all tripped over along with my friend Crispy Chicken, who hadn't seen The Mummy before. we all went to see
Botty and Crispy Chicken.
That's right. We all went to and
do you have a nickname with them, or you just
no.
go Fergus?
I'm just Fergus.
So it's Fergus, Chair, Botty, and Crispy Chicken.
Yeah, but we call Crispy Chicken Crispy.
Right.
And Botty, his real name's William, but we call him Weeham because we had a French teacher that pronounced it like that.
Okay.
So we don't call him Botty. We do call Chair though. But anyway,
do you actually call Chair to his face?
Yeah.
What's his actual name?
Chair.
Anyway,
we all went to see The Mummy. It was great. There was a bunch of kids next to us, making a scene. We were taking photos with a flash on, which I don't get it.
Beat those. Is it not a 15? Get those kids
out.
12A.
Yeah, a lot of people were like complaining to him. Eventually, the cinema manager came in and told him to shut the fuck up or he'd get kicked out. But yeah, I don't get it because we had to go to Odeon to see it in Dundee.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And at that Odeon, they only have screens with recliners in it. So you have to pay extra to get a reclining seat. So you're already paying a bunch of money to go and see it. So I don't get the point of just sitting and talking and going on your phone the whole way through.
I don't get people that talk during movies in the cinema.
Well, I know we were like whispering to each other when we were watching Madam Web. But that was Madam Web.
That was Madam Web.
That was Madam Web, and also we were as quiet as possible, so as not to disturb other people around us.
Yeah.
These people were not.
Yeah, I remember an old friend who shall remain nameless.
Mm-hmm.
She told me a story, and she was kind of telling me this story as if I was going to be on her side. But she went to see Bohemian Rhapsody at the cinema.
Well, that's a shame.
And during, yeah, that is a shame. And during the Live Aid sequence.
Mm-hmm.
She was saying that she was singing at the top of her lungs and like banging her feet and stuff. And then somebody turned around and told her to shut up. And then she was like, "Oh, I'm just having fun. Like, shut up, you cow," kind of thing. Like, you're in the wrong. Like,
yeah, it's not a concert.
Yeah, literally. Like,
you're at the cinema.
And enjoy the film. Like when we went to see Bohemian Rhapsody, during that sequence, it was dead. Nobody was speaking, and I'm like, that's how you.
That's how it should be.
That's like, definitely how it should be.
Sometimes it's acceptable to do that, like a Rocky Horror Picture Show midnight screening. It's acceptable to sing along to that.
The Room.
Yeah, The Room. But if you go to see Rocky Horror Picture Show on a normal day in the middle of the day with people who aren't wanting to sing along, it is a bit like, don't do that. Shut the fuck up.
What's your opinion on cheering in the cinema?
Nah, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
Do you not like it?
I'm not huge. It's never even happened to me either. I know. I've heard all these stories about like, oh, fucking Black Panther comes for Portland and everyone goes wild, and I've never experienced it.
Well, I never saw Endgame in the cinema, so that never happened to me. But Force Awakens, I remember vividly getting cheers. I remember No Way Home getting cheers when Toby and Andrew come out. I also remember going to see one of the Fast and Furious films and that getting cheers.
Why?
I think it might have been 7.
Oh, okay.
When Paul Walker passed away, but like,
and everyone cheered.
Yeah, everyone when he was like coming up, everyone was like, "Wow!" and like was like clapping and stuff.
Right. I thought you meant everyone was cheering because he passed on.
No.
I was going to say that's a bit fucking weird.
They might have been.
Oh, true. Yeah, I've never experienced that kind of thing. Like when I watched No Way Home in the cinema, I guess there's people like whispering and stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's a vibe in the room. There's like an electric. That's about as close as I've gone to it.
When we went to see No Way Home, number one, we went to see it opening day, like opening morning.
Oh, dude, me too.
Oh, okay. I thought you would have got cheers.
Yeah, me too.
But
just for showing up.
Thingy appears, the guy, I can't remember his name, the lawyer guy, blind lawyer.
Oh, Matt Murdock.
Yeah, when he appeared, we got a lot of cheers. Because it kind of plays it in a way where you don't know it's him, and then it reveals.
Yeah.
Like, people were like, "Oh, is that Matt Murdock? Is that
sure?" Yeah.
And then he came on, there was cheers, and then obviously when Toby and Andrew came out, there was cheers.
And
I'm pretty sure there was cheers when Andrew caught Zendaya from falling as well.
Right.
And I was just like,
"Isn't that in the trailer?"
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Well, you see her falling in the trailer, but you don't see her catch her.
Sure. Yeah, it's a weird thing. I saw Joker when I was on holiday in Florida, which is weird.
Going? Someone at the back, like laughing like Joker.
Yeah, he's literally me. No, at the end, everyone like stood up and gave it a round of applause, which I think is quite a common thing in America. But we don't do that here. That's a strange thing to do.
I like the whole attitude of applauding films. Like I a lot of works went into even like bad movies. A lot of works went into them. You know.
Yeah, but it's not Cannes. Like I just want to go home.
Yeah, fair. I don't necessarily agree with like a 10-minute standing ovation.
Yeah,
but like
but that must be so awkward.
A nice little one of them. And then
I've noticed like when Cannes, the last time Cannes was on, I noticed a lot of the standing ovations were shorter, so I kind of feel like we're maybe stopping that culture of well, maybe because it must be so awkward, right? Like standing there and like thank you, and then like minutes later it's still going on.
Did you see the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood one?
No.
I was watching it. It's just so awkward. The cameraman like zooms in on each of the actors' faces. Like, really close.
Oh yeah, I think I have seen that.
And then it gets to Quentin Tarantino, and he's just like standing there, like. And then it goes away from Tarantino, and then goes back. And he's getting more and more uncomfortable, and he just goes like this. He goes. And does that,
I've seen that,
thing. And I'm like, bro, leave the man alone.
Jack, we need to crack on here. Okay, yes. Can I just talk about a couple more? Really quickly. Cool. I've watched a bunch of Ghibli movies.
Yes, recently. I've seen that on your Letterboxd.
So, I've only seen 2 until a couple weeks ago. I'd only seen Spirited Away, which I've got a poster up for over there, and I'd seen The Boy and the Heron when it came out in the cinema. But then the other week, I was like, I watched that film, Your Name, that I talked about, and I was like, I should watch more movies like this, because this was really good. And it felt a bit like a Studio Ghibli movie, so I'm going to watch more Studio Ghibli movies. So speaking to some people, and I put on My Neighbor Totoro, which you're probably familiar with that one?
Definitely heard of
it. The big rabbit guy.
Yes.
Yeah, it's that one. I liked it a lot. It was cozy, wholesome, not really, like, very plot heavy at all. But it's just charming, and there's little forest creatures like the cat bus that were pretty cool.
Yep.
And then I watched another one that I'll talk about in a moment. Then I watched The Secret World of...
I wonder what one, Fergus.
I think you know. Then I watched
I'll tell you just really quickly. I was looking at your letterbox when I was on holiday, and I was like, oh, look at all these Ghibli movies. And it was like 4 stars, 4 stars, 1 star, 4 stars. Yep.
Yeah, so I watched that. Then I watched The Secret World of Arrietty, which was really good. It's about a little people living in a little world, and it's really cute and wholesome. I liked it a lot. Then I watched a weird one. No one told me to watch this, but I was like, because there were so many big ones, like Princess Mononoke, Howl's Moving Castle, Grave of the Fireflies. If I watch all the big ones now, I'll run out of steam later on. So I'll watch some more obscure ones. So I watched one called The Cat Returns, which was weird and had some strange bestiality implications. But there's a really cool character in it, Baron von Gickingen. He's like a cat, and he's very suave.
Did you not write that in your letterbox reviews, like being one of the best cinematic characters of all time?
Yes, peak. Love him. 10 out of 10. I might rewatch it dubbed, because I think Tim Curry voices the Cat King in the English dub. So I might rewatch that.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then I watched Howl's Moving Castle, which was really good. Everyone talks about how good that one is, and I agree, very good.
Are you watching all of these in their original language?
Yeah, except Earwig and the Witch, which is the one I was I alluded to earlier, which is the worst movie I've watched all year so far.
Yep,
terrible, fucking awful.
The animation is atrocious, man.
Awful. Absolutely awful. And it's by Miyazaki's son, which is embarrassing.
Oh.
But he's done some other Ghibli movies that look quite good. But he done that one. Yeah, I know.
Trying to follow in your father's footsteps and then coming out with Earwig and the Witch.
Dude, see Boy and the Heron, which is Miyazaki's last film.
Yeah.
The whole message of that one is not being able to find someone to carry on your legacy after you're gone. Which is a shame. But
predicted Earwig and the Witch.
Oh, it came out after Earwig and the Witch, so he might have made it after watching Earwig and the Witch.
Brilliant.
Terrible movie. Had to watch it in the English dub, and the little girl that voices Earwig is the worst. No offense to her, but her voice fucking irritated me.
Yeah.
Plot-wise, it's literally like Earwig gets adopted by the witch and the mandrake, and then the witch is like, I'm going to make you brew some spells for me. And she's like, oh, I don't want to do that. And then she does it anyway. And then for like an hour, it's just like, I'm not going to do this anymore. And then she does it. And then at the end, some bullshit happens, and she meets her mum. And then it literally just fades to black. Like, you've seen Paddington 2, right?
Yes.
You know at the end when he meets Aunt Lucy?
Yes.
It's trying to be like that scene, but she opens the door, and she looks up, and her mum's like, hello, Earwig, and then cut to black. We don't see a reaction or anything, and nobody told her who that is. Earlier on, she's like, who's this woman? And nobody told her. So she has no idea who this is. We don't get to see... I know, it's terrible. Sorry for spoiling it, but don't watch it.
Oh yeah, spoilers for Earwig and the Witch.
Yeah.
If that was on anyone's anticipated film list.
Yeah, sorry about ruining that, but it wasn't worth it.
I really want to watch some more Ghibli films, but I think I'll stay clear.
Oh, yeah. I knew it was the worst one, but I just wanted to get out of the way.
That's fair. I get that.
And then, that's all the Ghibli movies I watched. Okay, cool. Oh. Okay, one more movie, and we'll finish. Well, you can do yours. Yeah, you can do your bit. Don't. No, you can still do your bit.
Okay.
I'll just finish up with this one.
Okay. What you got?
One of my favorite directors of all time is
Wes Anderson.
But also,
Edgar Wright.
but also,
Martin Scorsese.
but also,
Spielberg.
fucking, I'll just say David Lynch. David Lynch is one of my favorite directors.
We'll do that again. Do that again.
One of my favorite directors of all time is
Quentin Tarantino.
Fuck you. Okay. Yeah, David Lynch, and I've had this on Blu-ray for a couple months because I got it for my birthday, and eventually I watched it with my parents the other night. It's The Elephant Man, which was really
nice.
fantastic, really wonderful film. I think my favorite Lynch film is still Blue Velvet, but it's a close second. I think
I haven't seen a David Lynch film.
that is shocking, and I think he's got quite an out there style.
I don't think I'll like David Lynch.
Yeah, it's very out there. I would recommend The Elephant Man. Elephant Man is quite a normal film in terms of it's got a plot that it follows and isn't meandering around.
One Lynch film that I've been meaning to watch, it's like the one David Lynch film I'm like really interested in is The Straight Story, I think it's called.
Haven't even heard of it.
It's about a guy that basically travels all of America on his lawnmower.
Oh, sure.
Okay. It's based on a true story.
Oh, well.
Guy, I'm pretty sure he was like going to visit a friend in hospital and he had to like get there and he traveled all the way in his lawnmower.
That sounds pretty interesting. I would do that.
But it's
I might come and visit you sometime on a lawnmower. I might surprise you.
Yeah, maybe. No, I'll be. You've ruined it, Fergus.
Oh,
fuck.
Oh. If you comment down below, I'll pick one of you and I'll come and visit you on a lawnmower.
If we get to 20 likes in this video, Fergus will come visit me on a lawnmower. Yep. But yeah, it's because I've not seen any Lynch films, but I know his style. I know his style's quite disturbing and
dreamlike
and strange.
Mm-hmm.
The Straight Story is a U-rated film. It's produced by Disney. Okay. And I'm like, this is just such a weird thing for Lynch to direct.
Not that weird for him.
No?
A lot of his films aren't like disturbing in terms of being violent or gruesome. Some of them are. Yeah. But he done one like What Did Jack Do, where he interviews a monkey for 20 minutes.
What did I do?
Allegedly it killed someone. No, I won't say if it did or not.
Fergus,
you'll have to watch to find out.
Fergus, I said, what did I do?
Allegedly you killed someone, Jack.
Oh, yes, that's not good.
You fucking killed me.
I didn't do it.
Well, we'll see. I mean, David Lynch will find out. He'll get to the bottom of it, I'm sure.
Yes, I'm sure.
He done another one called Rabbits, which is disturbing, but it's not really violent.
I've seen that in your letterbox before.
I love Rabbits.
No, I don't think I'll see. That looks like the type of film I'd hate.
Yeah, I don't think you'd like it. But I think you would really like The Elephant Man.
Okay. Is Eraserhead
Blue Velvet? I love Eraserhead, but again, I'm not sure what you would.
No.
Maybe you would. I don't know. I feel like you'd feel the same way about it as you did with Daisies, but I think you'd like it more than Daisies.
What's the name of it? Mulholland Drive. Is that any good? Is that Lynch?
Yeah. I like it.
Okay.
Yeah, probably lower tier. I've only seen 6 of his films, but a bit
That's
lower.
That's probably the one I hear the most about.
Yeah, I still love it. It's just compared to like Elephant Man.
Has there been one that you've seen by him that you've not liked?
Not yet. Okay. But again, I'm only 6 in, so
yeah, fair.
But yeah, Elephant Man's fantastic. Made me choke up a couple times, which is quite rare. Yeah, I think you'd really like it.
John Hurt, right?
John Hurt, yeah.
What an
and
actor,
Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, nice. Okay, I'll probably watch that soon then.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
The opening is a bit strange, but it's kind of like if you get past the first 2 minutes, it's pretty normal all the way throughout, except for like a dream sequence that happens. But you can tell it's a dream sequence. So.
Okay, cool. Okay, this is what I've watched. I've watched 3 films, Fergus.
Okay. I'm aware of time, so
our last podcast. I'll be super quick. Right?
Okay.
I watched Basic Instinct.
Basic Instinct.
Basic Instinct was really good. I really enjoyed Basic Instinct.
So
I wasn't sure what to expect from it. Because I didn't know if it would be my sort of thing. My sort of style of movie. But bring back the 90s erotic thriller, I say. It's such a nice style of a movie. I really enjoyed it. Like,
yeah, you recommended it. I was planning on watching it, and I looked up, and it was like watch on My5, and that was the only thing that was on. Like, I'm not watching it on fucking Channel 5.
Get,
That's not happening.
Get the 4K, Fergus.
Oh, maybe yes. Maybe I'll get the 4K that I won't be able to watch.
I'd recommend the film in glorious 4K quality, Fergus.
Yes, yes, on your 4K television.
Yes, Fergus. Yes. But no, Basic Instinct was really good. It was maybe a bit slow paced. If I were to give it, like, I remember we paused it at the 45-minute mark, and I thought we were nearly done the movie. I was like, oh, fucking an hour and 15 minutes left. But it's like it's really good. It's got a good couple of twists in it. Yeah, good film.
It's on my watch list now, and if it comes on something, or maybe I'll get the Blu-ray or something. I don't know.
I really like. I can't remember the director's name. Is it Paul Verhoeven?
That sounds familiar. Yes.
I
know he is a director.
He done RoboCop as well.
That's right.
I love his style of filmmaking. I really like it. I don't know. There's something about them that I really like. They're the only two I've seen, right enough. But there's both films have a similar kind of, I don't know, dystopian. Not even dystopian, but like, I don't know. So they've just got a kind of feel to them that I really enjoy.
All right, I'll keep this in mind.
The next film I watched was The Firm, starring Mr. Tom Cruise.
Yep.
And Mr. Gene Hackman.
Cruisy boy.
And
I love Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman was in it. Yeah, it was a good film. Not a great movie.
Yeah. I saw you give it 3.5.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that's fine because we probably won't have to talk about it very much at the start of the podcast.
Yeah, I don't have much to say on it if I'm honest. It was a good film. I enjoyed my time whilst watching it. It was also 2 hours and 40 minutes, and it did not need to be 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah, I watched a film yesterday with my mum called A Time to Kill, which I thought was okay, but again, 2.5 hours was
funny you say that. Based off of a book by the same guy who done
The Firm. That's right. Yeah.
But yeah,
Grisham.
Grisham. It was an interesting story, definitely. There were a couple of bits where I was a bit confused, like, because you have to kind of know law lingo and stuff, and I'm like, just spell it out for a dumb guy like me.
Sure, yeah.
But you understand it all by the end. Like, it's a good film. I can't see myself watching it again anytime soon, but it was good.
Sure. Okay.
And then today, Fergus.
Yes. The famous, the best Wolverine movie.
I started this film when I was on holiday.
And
I got an hour in, and I put it off because we had to go do something. So I watched the last 40 minutes of it today. I watched X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Ooh, exciting day for you.
Yeah, everyone kind of says is one of the worst comic book films. Is that kind of a general kind of?
Yeah.
I didn't mind it. I didn't like it. There was a lot of it that was shit. The way they handled Deadpool was absolutely atrocious.
Terrible. I don't even love Deadpool in his own movies, but he has no personality. He's nothing like Deadpool in Origins.
At the start of the movie, where it's like just Ryan Reynolds, I'm like, okay, he's all right.
Yeah.
And then later on, when he's like that kind of mouthless,
yeah,
the fuck that is, like, it's so weird. Like, why do that?
His nickname. His nickname is the Merc with a Mouth, and they get rid of his mouth. What were you thinking doing that?
Yeah. There was also a scene. I'm pretty sure is the character's name the Blob.
The Blob, yeah.
The fat guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was the way they handled that as well was just terrible.
Yeah, really poor.
And the direction of the movie just looked bad. It looked atrocious, like, all the way through. And there was like these really awful effects and weird camera angles and stuff. And I'm like, they'd random like speed up scenes and stuff.
Yeah, that's weird.
What's going on? However, to defend the film a little bit, liked the kind of first 20 minutes of it. I was like, okay, this is interesting. I'm a little bit invested here. I kind of liked the ending of it. I like how it tied in with like the start of X-Men and stuff, and you see Charles Xavier and stuff at the end. Like that was cool. And Hugh Jackman is fantastic in it.
He is good, yeah.
I love the man so much. Like he's so good as Wolverine.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah, I'll concede. He's a good Wolverine.
There were probably another couple of like random scenes that I enjoyed. I thought some of the fight scenes were cool, but like it was just kind of a nothing movie.
Yeah, that's the thing I don't like about it, is it's just not memorable, really.
Yeah.
At least with like a superhero film like Love and Thunder, I can remember parts of it that are really shit.
Yeah.
Origins, the only thing that comes to mind is how they butcher Deadpool.
Yeah. There was a lot of bad in it, definitely, but I think I slightly prefer it to X-Men 3. Personally,
I'd probably disagree, but there's not a huge amount in it.
That's fair. To be fair, I can't remember much about X-Men 3, and I watched it like a couple of months ago.
Yeah. Imagine how I feel. I haven't seen it in years.
That's kind of shows you what that film's like. Like I know Origins Wolverine is like fresh in my mind. I just watched it.
Yeah.
But I can see myself remembering more stuff from that film than X-Men 3.
Yeah.
So, that's why I've got them both at 2.5. Like they're both very similar in terms of
that's a valid rating, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I've watched because I watched nothing while I was on holiday except for, and I'm gonna segue us into what we're talking about, Fergus.
Yep. Should I do the theme song for this?
Oh, can you?
No.
Oh, I can't.
You could edit it in.
I can't even do it.
Something like that.
Perfect. I watched a lot of Inside Number 9.
Inside Number 9. So after our very brief 37-minute catch up, we're finally getting into. Oh, Mark is gonna fucking have a field day with this. For those unaware, like everyone except us three in the group chat, I guess.
Yeah.
Our friend Mark is giving us quite a bit of slander about our little waffle sessions. We don't mean for them to be so long. Okay, I enjoy doing these.
We just like chatting, Fergus.
Yeah, exactly. And we watch a lot of stuff. We're always up to something, and there's always stuff to talk about.
Exactly.
I guess maybe the bit where we talked about, like trailers and stuff went on a bit long. But anyway. Okay, finally we've arrived at the topic of the episode.
Yes.
Inside Number 9.
Yes.
So we've spoken a bit about this in the favorite TV shows episode because I picked it as my number 9. Ooh, being funny, and
I see what you done there.
Yeah. Even though I hadn't finished it at that point, I put it in my top 10, and yep, it's still sitting in the top 10 pretty comfortably. I think. No, I finished it, but I told Jack you can choose that or Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, and we're gonna talk about that for an episode, and he chose Inside Number 9. Which meant that he had to actually watch it. You'd already seen a couple episodes by then, to be fair.
I think I watched Sardines and A Quiet Night in one night, and then I stopped for a couple of days, and then I watched the rest of season 1 another kind of day.
Yeah, so you've seen a bit of it at that point.
Yep.
And then Jack finished seasons 2 and 3 on his finished season 2 on his holidays. Finished season 3 last night.
Watched all of season 3 yesterday.
Yeah. But still, had to be done, and so we're gonna talk about that, and we're gonna talk about the first 3 seasons, and then we're gonna do a future episode on seasons 4 through 6.
Yep.
And then another one down the line of 7 to 9.
Sounds
There's
good
9
to me.
seasons in total.
Yep.
So I guess one more thing that I'm gonna say before we get into it, if you've not seen Inside Number 9, would probably recommend watching it instead of listening to us describe the episodes, because we're gonna be getting into spoilers.
I was gonna say there's definitely gonna be spoilers.
Yeah, every episode of Number 9, almost every episode, has a big twist at the end.
Yeah.
And so you probably don't want that spoiled, because we're not gonna do it justice, really.
Yep.
So, and there's some episodes where the twist is really massive, and I think we should give them a special spoiler warning before we talk about them, in case people are choosing to go on.
Sure.
These are episodes you should skip us talking about.
Yeah, I've got a few in my head. For
Yes.
the big twist ones.
Yes.
Yep.
And I guess this is a good time to use that because season 1, episode 1, Sardines, I think is a pretty big twist. So I think you should watch Sardines.
Sure.
Well, no, because I think Sardines is one that you need to watch without knowing the twist.
Fair.
Personally,
yeah,
because
if you knew the twist, there would be something lost. Like,
yeah, and
for sure.
and it really recontextualizes the whole thing.
Yep.
And it doesn't come out of nowhere, but it's very shocking. So go watch that.
Comes a little bit out of nowhere, Fergus, but we'll get into that.
Okay, let's get into it now then. So Sardines, episode 1. Opener of the show needs to kind of nail it, get the audience hooked and wanting more. And I think Sardines does it pretty well.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed Sardines. It set up. I think the best thing that it does is it sets up the comedy of the show, the kind of black comedy-ness of it, because it's a very dark show.
Yeah,
constantly, and its humor's often not gags, but rather just I can't believe this person would say this thing.
Yeah,
like it's a very, you have to have a very dark sense of humor to get inside Number 9. I feel.
Especially with some episodes like The Last Gasp, which is a very mean episode, and you need to really.
We'll get to it first.
Yes, we will. Oh, yes, we will. Yeah, but Sardines definitely has a dark comedy to kind of vibe. Basically, it's this couple having a wedding party or an engagement party at their father's house. Not her father's house. They're not brother and sister. That's not the twist. But basically, we're playing this game Sardines where everyone kind of gets into a cupboard. It's like hide and seek, where once you find a person, you join them in a hiding place.
Yep.
So the main character, played by Catherine Parkinson from the IT Crowd, finds Tim Key in the cupboard, and so she joins him. And then more and more people start coming in, and as they come in, more and more little bits of information start coming out.
Yes.
Until the end reveal, and we'll get out of the way. It's one of the darkest twists in the whole show. Which makes it like it's kind of odd that they open with it almost, but I guess it prepares the audience.
Went on about the episode being like really darkly funny.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious, and then
so funny.
But also the dad is a child molester, is the reveal at the end. And has molested several young boys, including his own son.
Dad's not a good guy.
No. Yeah, easily one of the most evil characters in the whole show, I think.
Yeah, and that's honestly not the twist that I think of when I think of the episode. The guy who's in the cupboard from the start was Tim Key was one of the kids that he molested, and he basically kills the whole family. Yeah,
he locks everyone in the cupboard. They don't even notice that he's gone because he blends in as a really normal character, and at one point he slips out whilst everyone else is coming in.
Yeah.
And then at the end we're like, oh wait, where's this character?
Yeah.
And it turns out he was lying about his identity. He locks him in and sets it on fire.
Yeah. I liked that twist.
Great twist.
I liked that more than the whole dad being a child molester twist. I did think that was I get that it was set up a little bit, but I do think it was there for a lot of shock value.
I think it definitely needs to serve as a motivation, because trapping all these innocent people in a cupboard and setting on fire, really horrible way to kill people. So there definitely needs to be a reason for that. And I guess getting revenge on your molester is a pretty solid reason for doing that.
Yeah, and another thing that is kind of interesting is like the whole family basically wants to like almost protect the dad.
Yeah.
Because they almost like when it's brought up, they're like trying to change the subject and like not.
Yeah, that's right. And there's a lot of clues as to what's going on that you pick up on if you've watched it a second time. There's a couple episodes I've watched twice, and that's one of them. And there's bits where like the old lady is like, "Oh, where's your sister? Is she coming?" And they're like, "No, she's with a boy. She's far away." Or whatever, and you kind of figure out that the reason she's not coming is because she wants to protect her children from the dad. So it's
Okay.
kind of stuff like
Yeah.
that, you notice the second time around.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I do definitely like Sardines. I do think it was a good episode to, as you said, like set up the show. Like this is what to expect when watching this.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
it's got one of the darkest twists in the show, which,
mm,
gets you ready for more dark episodes to come, and it was also really funny.
yes,
So,
yes.
there's a really funny bit when, this couple comes in, they start, like, having sex in the bed, and they're like, "Let someone make a noise," and Tim Key goes like,
Yeah.
really quietly, and then the old lady's like, "Geronimo!" Which is really, really funny.
My favorite bit in Sardines is the guy who plays Mr. Poppy.
Oh, yeah, Stinky John.
Stinky John. The fact that they just call him Stinky John, it's like so
Yeah.
on the nose.
Yeah.
And there's been a few instances, and it's slowly making me realize my sense of humor is when something is so incredibly on the nose, I find it hilarious.
Mhm.
There's a bit in the next episode that we're going to talk about where the guy's holding a card and he's like, "I'm deaf and dumb," and I'm like, "That's so on the nose that it's brilliant. It's
Yeah.
hilarious."
Sure.
I that was probably the bit I laughed at the most, is the whole stuff with Stinky John.
Yeah, but even Stinky John on second watch, when he has like a panic attack when he smells the carbolic soap because they say the dad was like claiming he was washing them, so
Yep.
it becomes apparent that he was one of the victims.
Yep, and that's why he doesn't wash.
Yeah, which makes it more kind of tragic on rewatch, but he is still a funny addition, especially when he comes in and they're all like everyone's scattered into different hiding places. It's fun, right? No, go over there, go over with those guys behind the curtain or whatever.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny, but
yeah, Sardines is really good.
yeah, and I do one thing I think about it is it justified for him to kind of kill everyone in the cupboard? Because I guess most people in there knew about it, but even I don't think everyone did. Like the couple that comes in to try and use the dad as a stepping stone to get to a higher position. They probably didn't know much about what was going on.
Yeah.
They're pretty innocent, I suppose, and I think they have children as well. So it is kind of a thing where like there's a clear villain in the dad, but kind of do you agree with what Tim Key does is another question that it poses there, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like I get the whole like wanting to kill obviously your molester and also the people that are trying to protect him.
Yeah.
Because he shouldn't be protected.
Yeah, of course.
But
and he like pays for Tim Key's parents to not say anything about it and all that.
Yeah. But yeah, there were a few people in there. Like the old woman, did she really know what was going on?
Yeah, she did, I think, because she kind of helped cover it all up. But
okay.
Reese's character was Steve Pemberton's character's boyfriend, but he didn't know anything about what was going on. He probably didn't deserve that either.
Yes.
And also Ben Wilbon's character, the fiance, he probably didn't know about any of that either. So it is kind of a thing where like, yeah, okay, burn down your past or whatever, and all people linked to it, but these people probably don't deserve to die at the same time.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's an interesting kind of morality thing there, I think.
Definitely. And also, I loved, like, I obviously didn't know what the show was going to be like, and every episode is fairly similar in terms of it's normally one location.
Yeah.
But
number 9.
Yeah, exactly. But I was very impressed by the location of a wardrobe and being able to make it entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, just
it's
through,
brilliant.
Like, it shows you how good they are at writing dialogue, because
exactly.
30 minutes flew in, and it shouldn't, because it's fully set in basically this cupboard and this kind of room, which is insane.
Also, one thing I'll say about it, if you remember how it opens, keep that in mind when you get to the finale.
Okay.
We homage there.
Okay. I'm excited.
Yeah, the Sardines is really good, and I know you've got your ratings in front of you. I don't know if
I was going to say, do you want to rate each episode out of 10?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna rate my Sardines a bit higher than yourself because it's one of my favorite episodes. As a
Is
matter of
it?
fact, yeah, maybe top 10. Don't know for
Okay,
sure, but possibly. I've
that's
got to a
interesting.
9.
I've got it as a 7.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, it's fair
I
enough.
I liked it. I thought it was a good opening episode for other
Hmm.
episodes to build upon.
Hmm.
So yeah, about a 7 seems right in my head.
I don't. Just for a record, I don't think I have a single episode lower than 6.
Oh damn. Okay,
Yeah,
I
I
do.
like every episode of this show, but there are definitely some that I dislike more than others.
Yes, yes.
But that does not apply to the next episode.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. A Quiet Night In,
Quiet Night and brilliant. This is one of
top
the best episodes
tier.
of the show.
Yes, so good. For the longest time, and this will give you a little sneak peek, Fergus, because
Mhm.
you don't know really my thoughts on anything after season 1.
Mhm.
For the longest time was my favorite episode of the show,
Mhm.
and was recently overtaken by another episode,
Okay.
which we will get to.
Was it in season 4?
Season 3.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to okay, I have a few ideas in my head. I'll try and guess when we get to season 3.
Okay, okay. But
Um,
I think A Quiet Night In is probably my second favorite
yeah.
episode of
Easily
the show.
probably my top 10 for sure, this one. I don't know if Sardines would be, but Quiet Night In definitely is.
Yeah, for sure. It's genius.
Yeah.
It's quite simply genius. It is maybe one of the best pieces of television
Mhm.
maybe ever. It's
Yeah, agreed.
actually so clever. There's no dialogue until the
The
very
very
end.
end, which, like, some people might see as a cop out, but I think it's pretty funny, the
Yeah,
way that they do it, because the reveal is that the character we thought was deaf and dumb wasn't the whole time. He could
yeah,
speak and hear what was
genius.
going on.
Um, yeah, I just think it's absolutely brilliant, and the way it kind of pays homage to kind of old silent
Yeah,
comedy
Charlie
is
Chaplin.
just beautifully
Mentioned this
done.
before, but Charlie Chaplin's granddaughter's in the episode, which
Yes,
I don't think they even knew she was his granddaughter when they were casting her.
brilliant.
It's pretty funny. But yeah, yeah, I really love it as an kind of homage to all that, to older cinema.
Yes, definitely. It kind of played as a almost fucked up Mr. Bean in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Do you know what it kind of reminded me of? And
What?
you're probably not gonna like this comparison, Fergus.
Mhm.
It kind of reminded me of Man versus Bee
Oh, okay.
in a
Yeah,
weird
I get
way.
that. Yeah, I never finished Man vs. Bee, but me and my friends had it on when we were drunk one time.
Mm,
So I remember bits of it. Yeah, it's a bit of a comedy of errors in, like, this expensive house. I kind of see where
yes,
you're coming from with that.
yes, and that's a compliment because I really enjoyed Man versus Bee,
Mhm.
but it's that kind of similar. Every bit of humor needs to be physical because there's
Yeah,
no dialogue at all, and I
yeah,
think they pull it off brilliantly.
yeah, agreed.
Um,
There's
I
a funny bit where they're, like, texting each other, and Steve's texting Reese, like, "Is your phone on silent?" And then he goes, "Bing,"
yeah,
and then he's, like,
yeah,
telling him how to turn it on to silent
yeah,
in his
and
settings.
all the stuff with the painting is also
Yeah, the painting, yeah.
so clever, man.
Well, painting, it's a bit shit,
Painting,
isn't it?
yeah, it's a bit
That's another joke, is that they're able to make a replica of, like, kitchen roll and tinfoil, and nobody notices anything.
yeah. But yeah, when is it Kayvan Novak's character goes
Yeah,
away with it at the end, um,
mhm,
and I'm like, because obviously he kills everyone, and
yeah,
then he like. I was like, see if he turns to pick up that painting, I'm gonna die laughing. He picks
mhm.
it up and he's like, "I've got it, sir." And I'm like, "Brilliant! It's so good.
Yeah, and then
It's
it ends
genius."
with the painting in the pool.
Yeah, yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah. It's incredibly clever. Like maybe one of
Mhm.
the cleverest scripts I've seen in a while.
Yeah,
And
I showed this episode to my mom, and she really loved it as well. I think it's
yeah,
her favorite episode, she said.
yeah. Um, I've thought about showing it to my dad because in
Mhm,
similar ways to that kind of Mr. Bean, he likes that kind of humor.
mhm.
So I do think he would enjoy this.
Yeah,
It,
I
it,
think it's the kind of episode anyone could watch and really enjoy. You
for
could
sure,
just show someone it as, like, a short film.
for sure, for sure. Out of curiosity, I
Mhm,
looked up what the script looked like for this.
mhm.
It's a very interesting read. It's only like 20 something pages. And it is just like literally just this happens and this happens.
Mm,
And I'm like, reading it, it doesn't come across as funny at all.
Yeah.
So, like, that just gives it more credit to the performers.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how good Steve Pemberton and Reece Shearsmith actually
Yeah,
are.
and they're brilliant in that. At that
They're
point,
so good.
watching it, I was only familiar with Steve Pemberton really as the the vicar from Mr. Bean's Holiday.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
didn't know Reece Shearsmith at all, but by the end of that episode, I really appreciated them both as performers.
Yeah, one thing I will say about the show as a whole is Steve Pemberton is often playing I would say the comedy, and Reece Shearsmith is often playing the straight guy.
Yeah,
I think that's just kind of what they're used to. And
yeah,
I recently watched that. We're not going to talk about this episode, but Bernie Clifton's dressing room in season 4, and they almost kind of play off that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. Is kind of their own relationships, and we talk about how like when Steve Pemberton's character goes off stage at one point, everyone's like, "Oh, bring back the funny one" or whatever.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's maybe a reflection of how they feel
Definitely.
about the kind of roles that they have.
Definitely, that's what I got from that episode. But yeah, I just think it really their performances are in true perfect form in this episode.
Yeah, they're brilliant. And Dennis Lawson, is that the name of the other guy?
Dennis Lawson, yeah, from Local Hero.
Local Hero, that's right. Yeah, he's brilliant in it as well.
Yeah, he's really good. And then Kayvan Novak is just the icing on top of the cake at the end. All that stuff with these little card where it's like, I am deaf and dumb.
Yeah, and I love the bit.
To buy any cleaning supplies.
I love the bit when Reese's character goes to get the rope from him, and he's like, "Oh, 2 for £10," and so he gets like a brush or whatever as well.
Like,
he has to like pick it out.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of great bits, like when he throws the dog at the window. Or just before that, when like they get the dog out and then the bigger one comes in.
Yeah, like little things like that. It's like a very old-fashioned comedy, and I think it just showcases that comedy isn't dead. Like
for sure,
can still be funny. Like the same kind of jokes they were doing in the 1920s, 1930s can still be funny today.
Yeah, and it's got a kind of more modern twist in it as well, with like the bit where he's under a bed on top of a sex doll.
Yeah,
and it starts like deflating on top of him, and just like cover up all the holes. It's brilliant.
Great episodes.
Fantastic.
What have you got it at out of 10?
I've got a 9 out of 10, which feels quite like next to Sardines. It makes me want to put Sardines score down, but I love both those episodes for very different reasons, I guess.
I've got it as a 10.
10, valid. I don't think I have any episodes at 10, but definitely Bernie Clifton's dressing room, what we're talking about, I think would probably be a 10. I might change it. And also one in season 3, which I've said before is my favorite. If you remember, I would probably put it to 10 as well. The more I think about it.
Yes, I think I know the one you're talking about, and we shall get to that because I don't think you know my thoughts on that episode.
No, I don't know anything from season 3.
So it'll be interesting to get there. But next we have
Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, I've just realised
you were gonna wear the shirt.
I was gonna wear the shirt. I'm so sorry, Jarvis.
I'm really upset about that. Go and change right now.
No. But yeah, okay. Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry. So this is third episode of season 1, and at this point you're getting more familiar with it, because I think back to back Sardines and A Quiet Night In are a really good way of opening it, with Sardines being like, here's what a traditional episode will look like with a kind of twist. And then A Quiet Night In being like, here's a more comedic styled episode. So you go for a dark episode and a comedic one, and it gets you in the mood for the right kind of balance, I suppose.
Yep, definitely.
And Tom and Jerry definitely plays on that, I think. It has a very good balance between being dark and being comedic.
So, unbeknownst to me, I had actually seen Tom and Jerry before.
Really?
Yes. This is going to sound so weird, but I'd watched it on TikTok.
Jack.
I'd seen a clip on. Do you know when they upload like random film clips to TikTok?
Yeah, and they've got like Subway Surfers underneath it.
Yeah, I watched it. The full thing is that years ago, like in 2020. And I was watching it, especially the bit where the tramp comes to the door. And I'm like, I've seen this on TikTok.
I can just imagine the caption as well being like, he let a homeless man into his house. What happened next will shock you.
I didn't know the twist. I hadn't seen all of it, but I'd
Sure.
seen a lot of what had happened. And the twist got me. Really badly. Like I thought the twist was excellent.
Yeah, it's a great twist. I forgot to mention this with Quiet Night In. I thought it'd be fun if we could pick out a more like the most evil character from each episode where that's applicable.
Most evil.
Yeah, or most morally reprehensible.
Okay.
I would say Sardine's obviously the dad, and then A Quiet
Yes.
Night In. I think everyone in that episode kind of sucks morally.
Yeah.
But maybe Kayvan Novak, just because he kind of has the highest body count, and
Yeah.
also because he kind of manipulates his way into the house.
Yeah, sure. I can go with that. Tom and Jerry's a difficult one.
I think, yeah.
Probably Steve Pemberton's character.
Mig.
He takes real advantage of the guy.
It's really horrible once you realize the situation by the end, where so basically, obviously spoilers, so this guy Tom lets this homeless man Mig come into his house, and slowly Mig starts to take control of his life, and Tom goes into this big depression, basically, where he quits his job, and he's living off benefits, but unbeknownst to him, Mig is kind of taking all his benefits money. He's cutting off all his contact with the outside world.
Almost like becoming him.
Yeah.
Way. Like, it's weird.
He basically steals his life, almost. And then at the end, it turns out that Mig wasn't real, and Tom's girlfriend Jerry tells him Mig's not real, so he gets rid of Mig, he drowns him in the bath. Then his friend comes over.
So when that happened, I was like, okay, that wasn't a great twist. I could kind of see that coming a little bit.
Yeah.
But whatever. Like I'm expecting up and down kind of twists.
Yeah.
Like because you can't write a banging twist every time.
Can you give me 1 moment? I gotta let the cat
out.
Sorry.
He's gonna have to move. Right, I'll keep you all entertained. Whilst Fergus is dealing with his cat. Hello.
Hello, Mickey. Say
hi,
to
Mickey.
Everyone.
Hi, Mickey.
Say hi to everyone, Mickey.
Bro doesn't want to be on the podcast. But yeah, I'm going to keep you entertained whilst Fergus is dealing with his cat, and Fergus is coming back.
He's thrilled about that.
He's back. Woohoo!
Hello. So okay, so
absolute crap when you were away. I was just like, Fergus is at the door and he's letting the cat
out. So feel free to keep that in, by the way. So Tom drowns Mig after his girlfriend Jerry tells him Mig's not real. Yes. Okay, good twist, I guess.
Yeah,
a little predictable.
I was like, it's a little predictable, but you can't expect the twist to be banging every single time. Like whatever.
But then Tom's pal comes over, his co-worker from school. Tom's starting to clean up his life at this point. Now he's gotten rid of Mig. So he comes over and he's like, "Oh, it's good to see you're looking better." And Tom's like, "Yeah, it was all because of Mig, but he's gone now, thanks to Jerry." And he's like, and his co-worker's like, "Dude, Jerry died, remember? You fucking, you silly guy. Jerry passed away quite a while ago." And then he's like, "Oh, no, she's just in the other room." And then his co-worker goes into the bathroom and there's Mig. Dead. Mig was the real one all along.
Mental great twist.
Fucking
so
mental.
Good. So well done.
It's a little Fight Club to start with, where it's like this person was not real all along. It was an extension of yourself.
Yes.
And then it plays on that even further, where you've just basically killed an innocent guy, even if he's not fully innocent. You have just killed someone.
Yeah. Another very dark twist.
Yeah.
But really well executed, in my opinion. It's a really good episode. I really liked the whole this guy slowly like taking someone's life.
Yeah.
I thought it was really well executed.
Mm-hmm. And you don't really know where that's going until he kind of takes his car keys out of the drawer.
Yeah.
And hides his phone, and at that point you're like, "Oh, what's going on here?"
Yeah.
And then towards the end, he comes in and he's gotten a job and everything. And meanwhile, Tom's lying on the couch, miserable, not doing the dishes or anything, just in an absolute depression caused by the loss of his girlfriend, obviously, which we find out later on.
Yep.
And that kind of makes it more disgusting when we find out that Mig is taking advantage of him because he's obviously in a very vulnerable state.
Yes. I just like the whole concept of letting someone into your house and then just slowly they begin to become you.
Yeah.
Like that's just creepy. Like
yeah, for sure.
and that's handled pretty well. There were. It's been obviously. I was going to say it's been a while since I watched it. It was literally a few weeks ago, but there's some little bits in it. I'm like, I can't fully remember how that happens, and so maybe the stuff where he's like talking to Jerry, I'm like, that could be a little bit forgettable. It's the stuff with Meg that I really remember about the episode. But
and
no,
Steve Pemberton is really good as Meg.
Steve Pemberton is great, but I think Reece Shearsmith is brilliant in it too.
Yeah, he's really good. And the guy that plays his co-worker from school is really funny as well.
Yeah, he's brilliant. Yeah, it's the casts are always great, man.
They're always funny. I think Sardines. This is one thing we didn't say about Sardines. Sardines is a really good cast.
Yep.
With Tim Key and Mark Wooten, Catherine Parkinson,
definitely,
and Ben Wilbond, and all these really strong comedic players in it.
Definitely. But yeah, the cast, like, there's always people that I'm having to stop the episode and Google them. Like, what have you been in?
Yeah, it's like Doctor Who, where it's like really recognizable, but you don't know exactly where you've seen them from.
Yeah. A lot of the people in Inside Number 9, by the way, have been in Doctor Who.
That's right, yeah.
Because I've been going like, who is this person doing it? And then it says like, you have also seen this person in this random episode of Doctor Who. I'm like, oh, it's them.
Yeah, you'll get to see Noel Clarke in an upcoming episode.
Do we like Noel Clarke?
No.
These days?
No, I don't think so. He is good in that episode though. But yeah, Anyway, back to Tom and Jerry. Yeah, no, Tom and Jerry's brilliant.
Yeah.
It feels very Tales of the Unexpected. I think it's one of the episodes that feels the most like a Tales of the Unexpected.
For sure. Yeah, I don't have much else to say on it really, other than the fact that the twist is excellent.
I'll say one thing. I've seen this theory online that I quite like, that Mig isn't real either, and the guy that he kills at the end is like a social worker that's come to check up on him, which would explain the uniform and that. I think that's kind of a neat theory. I don't think that's true, but I think it's a neat little theory that someone's come up with.
That is definitely a cool theory. I like it. It also kind of makes it even darker.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If it wasn't dark enough for you guys, here's a theory.
Manta over here.
So what have you got, Tom and Jerry?
I've got Tom and Jerry an 8.
Oh, I've got it as an 8 too. Yeah,
that's good. That's first one we're seeing eye to eye on.
Yeah.
And now
definitely a good episode.
And now let's go on to the last gasp. Finally, last gasp.
Let's skip the last
fair enough. Yep, so the next episode is the understudy. No, okay, we'll do last gasp quickly because I guess we have to.
I could sum up the last gasp. It's also a difficult title to say. Last gasp.
Yeah.
In a couple of sentences.
Go on.
Right. Actually, do you want to tell everyone what it's about first?
A pop star dies while making a home visit to a sick girl, leaving his entourage and the family squabbling over a balloon which holds his dying breath.
Thank you, Fergus. Yeah, so basically this celebrity comes over for this Make-A-Wish girl, and he's blowing up a balloon and has a stroke or an aneurysm or
aneurysm,
and dies, and basically this balloon contains his last breath. And basically the whole family starts squabbling over what they should do with it. They should sell it, blah blah blah.
Basically, they all want to sell it.
Yeah, and get money for it. A good look on like greediness, and it's a good concept because people actually sell this shit, like a tissue that Taylor Swift has sneezed in and stuff like that.
Which you bought, I remember.
Yes, I've got it up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like people actually sell and people buy this crap.
Yeah.
So I like that aspect of it.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting episode concept to have your final breath inside a balloon. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. However, the humor I could do without.
Yeah, it's a bit mean-spirited.
The full episode is basically them bullying a Make-A-Wish child.
Yeah,
this dying girl.
And I get the comedy in that is that like they're also focused on getting the money from this balloon that they're completely ignoring her, and
Yeah.
just thinking about themselves and putting cash in their wallets. But it does come across as a bit mean-spirited.
Yeah, for sure.
And I wouldn't mind that. But also, one thing that I don't like is the bodyguard character at all. And I'm gonna get into a little criticism of Reese and Steve
Okay.
when it comes to writing. I don't feel that they do young characters particularly well.
Okay, that's
This
fair.
like the character in this episode isn't so bad, but there's another one called Tempting Fate in season 4 that you've not gotten to, which is a
Okay.
decent episode otherwise, but there's one character in that I really could do without.
Okay, sure. But yeah, last gasp. I need to say it so slowly because I can't say it.
Why is there not a V in front of it? It should be the last gasp.
The last gasp. Yeah,
That would
should
make
be
it
the
easier to
last
say.
gasp. Yeah.
You
But
couldn't even get the title of it right.
yeah, exactly.
Idiots. Who's running a show?
Yeah, I liked the concept. I thought the concept was cool. But the whole humor and just how mean-spirited the whole episode is really put me off.
Yeah, and the thing with it is that it's not very funny.
No,
Even
it's not.
even though it's quite dark, and I like like films with a dark sense of humor, like Dogtooth. I was talking about earlier. I love Dogtooth, but Last Gasp is not funny, and it
No.
means that I will never rewatch this episode.
No, I didn't find it funny in the slightest, and the ending sucks.
Oh, worst ending. It's so corny, man, and it's
Yeah.
so predictable too.
She goes up with the balloon and lets it go.
Yeah, and it's like, oh,
And
his soul's
no one
going to
gets-
heaven.
No one gets the money. Like, shut up, man.
Yeah, I could see from the start the twist was gonna be the balloon is either gonna fly away or get popped.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen at the end. No one gets the
Yeah.
balloon.
Definitely.
So I don't know if it could have even escalated to someone like murder over getting this balloon. That could have been interesting, perhaps. Like, and they actually do go to that point actually because it turns out the pop star isn't quite dead,
yeah,
and so they have to kill him
yeah,
to ensure that this is his last breath in here.
Mm.
And I think that's pretty interesting part of it.
yeah, definitely.
And I think the whole episode could have been way more interesting if it focused on this morality instead of having all the humor added in. I don't
Yes,
know.
I agree. I
think-
definitely agree
yeah.
with that bit. Like the concept's better than the execution. See if they played
Yeah.
it a bit more, I don't know, seriously.
Yeah,
And that
yeah,
almost is where the humor comes from, is how
yeah,
serious they're actually taking this fucking balloon that holds this guy's last breath.
yeah. And showing
Um,
the lengths that they'll go to for it. But there's a lot of meandering around, like, oh, I'll go and make a cup of tea kind of thing. And like,
Yeah.
why are we making a cup of tea? Why don't we just get on with it?
Yeah. You did say about the guy coming back alive, and that was an interesting concept.
Yeah.
I get that. I also thought that was a little bit predictable.
Mm.
Like when he died, I was like, that guy's not dead. He's moving, or he's like gasping
Yeah, yeah, sure.
randomly. Like I could just see him just kind of, or like moaning when they're all like having an argument, and
Mhm.
like I could just see it all unraveling in front of my eyes. And
But
I'm like,
yeah,
so
but I do.
predictable, man.
It is a scene I like where they're talking about who's gonna go in and kill him.
Yeah, sure.
I think that's pretty interesting. And
Sure.
there's a couple interesting things, but on the whole, it feels really mean spirited. And we're talking about the most evil characters in each episode. I think is it Tamsin Gregg in this episode?
Tamsin Gregg, yeah,
I
Steve
would say
Pemberton
her.
as well.
He's pretty nasty, but I think Tamsin Gregg's character is worse because she's representing Make a Wish, and it's clear that
Yeah.
she doesn't give a shit about it, and
Yeah.
she kind of just does it to make herself feel good about
Yeah,
fulfilling these sick kids' wishes.
agreed. But yeah, not a great episode. Not one I'll be
No.
rewatching anytime soon. Let's
Yes,
just say that.
yes,
Actually,
agreed.
probably my least favorite episode of the show so far.
Yeah, definitely not one of my favorites ever. I've got it 7 out of 10, but 7 out of 10 it's going to 6. Sadly,
A 6
I
out of
don't
10.
know why it's at 7.
I've got it as a 4.
In my mind, I was convinced it was 6. I was a little surprised for me there.
But yeah, I've got it as a 4.
Hmm.
Literally 4 stars for a good concept.
Yeah,
That's
and
it.
that's kind of the same thing with mine. I've got it at 6 because there's a few things in it that I think are done well, but on the whole, not perfectly executed in my opinion.
Fair.
One
Okay.
other thing I'll say about it is
Yes.
no Reese Shearsmith in that one.
No, in
Disappointing.
season 1, there's 2 episodes that are like that, right?
Yeah, harrowing has no Steve,
Yeah.
and Last Gasp has no Reese, and they're also the worst episodes of the season.
Weird.
ask me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree with that. Yep.
Mm.
It's weird that they're just randomly not in 2 and they're in
Yeah,
every episode
and
of the show.
we talked about this before with this episode that they don't have Reese in it. When they
Hmm.
easily could have had him come in even as like the mortician at the end or
Yeah.
whatever as
They
when
could
he
have had
comes
them in
in.
it for 30 seconds and I
Yeah,
would have been
exactly.
more
It's
satisfied.
strange that he's not in it.
Yeah. Okay.
I actually don't know what the reason is in that. I've listened to a lot of interviews they've done, but I've never heard them say why. They probably have somewhere, but
do you think they eventually wanted to like phase out of being in the show?
I don't know.
Like, obviously they're big actors, so they
Yeah.
were like, let's be in it for season 1 and then like slowly phase out of it.
Maybe,
just write
but
it.
I think because they're in the League of Gentlemen, which they wrote, and they're in Psychoville, which they wrote, I think they do like
True.
also being in their own thing. So I don't know.
True.
I probably weren't trying to do that.
Or at least maybe like not be in it as much.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe they were like, oh, is it realistic for like us to play like every character? Like, you know what I mean?
I think it's interesting that they're constants in every episode, much like the number 9 and much like the bronze hair, which we've not mentioned yet, but is in every episode. How often do you spot the bronze hair, would you say?
I'd say every other episode.
Sure.
I spot it. Since you mentioned it a lot more, obviously. I didn't actually catch on until you had mentioned it to me. But I noticed it the other day, and I think it was Zanzibar, or maybe the last episode of season 3.
Sure.
I was like, oh, there's that.
Yeah.
Which it's a weird little thing to do, but it's interesting.
Yeah, I think I'd say I've got like a 70% success rate with it. I think there's one episode called Wuthering Heist that you'll get to in season 6. Fucking bullshit where we put the hair in that one. I guarantee you will not spot it. I had to look it up afterwards, and where they put it is such fucking bullshit.
Yeah, there's definitely like more obvious uses of it.
Yeah.
There's sometimes where it's just like not like a close up, but it's just like in a shot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, there's
right there. Yeah. Is Diddle Diddle Dumpling in season 3?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that one's interesting. We'll get to that.
Yes.
But there's one episode, Tempting Fate, that I mentioned earlier, and you'll definitely spot the hair in that. I guarantee it.
Okay.
But for now, The Understudy is the next one.
The Understudy.
Understudy.
I enjoyed The Understudy.
Yeah,
man.
I like this episode. I don't think it's a great episode in the grand scheme of things, but it's pretty decent, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I do you know what? It gave me Birdman vibes.
Sure. Yeah, that's kind of what I felt throughout it as well.
Which I liked because I adore Birdman. I think
Birdman's a good film.
Excellent. Yeah. And I think it was their kind of take on it in a way.
Yeah. Well, it came out the same year, 2014. So.
Oh, it might have not been like properly a take
good,
on it. Like,
good year for backstage dramas.
But that kind of idea of this actor.
Yeah.
I just thought it was definitely an interesting episode. Interesting concept.
I think this is another episode where I felt a bit let down by the end, almost. I quite like the twist in it in some ways, but it doesn't feel like it. It's kind of just like, here's a twist, and then it ends. You know, I don't know. It felt like the build up to that twist was a bit not too well established.
I liked the twist. The twist was it was the kind of dressing room woman.
Yeah, it was Steve's assistant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I kind of like that because she's a big fan of The Understudy, and she's kind of like Annie Wilkes in that way, where she kills Steve's. Well, she paralyzes Steve's character so that Reese can take his spot.
Yep.
Which is it's an interesting twist. It just felt a bit deflating, almost. I don't know. There's something about it where it ended, and I was like, oh, okay, that was a twist. I guess that was okay.
Sure.
And I'm not one of these people that expects every episode to have a twist. I don't mind if there isn't a twist, but this one it felt a bit. I don't know. I'm not keen on it.
That's fair. I liked it. It's definitely not one of my favorite twists of the series. But I liked it, and I thought there's like these weird dream sequences, not even dream sequences, but you like start seeing like blood and stuff, and I was like, that's all a bit strange.
Yeah.
Like, they don't even really reveal why he's seeing that.
No, yeah, it's a bit odd. I don't know.
But on a whole, I definitely like the concept. I loved Steve Pemberton in it.
Steve Pemberton's brilliant. We mentioned before he's quite like Matt Berry.
Yes.
In this episode.
Yes.
And
very Matt Berry vibes.
Another episode where he's a lot like Matt Berry. I don't know if you thought this, but in The Devil of Christmas, he's quite like Matt Berry, I think, in terms of his delivery.
Yes, I could see that. I can see that. I definitely thought I got more Matt Berry vibes from the understudy.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking at. I've got IMDb in front of me because of our ratings, and I can see the picture of it. He does look a lot like Matt Berry from a glance.
I thought it was Matt Berry.
Yeah, me too.
Like when because like on the BBC iPlayer, like the little picture, I was like, oh, it's Matt Berry.
Yeah, I was the same.
But
and it's a shame that Matt Berry isn't in any episode. Spoiler alert, I guess, if you're expecting the show, he's not in anything.
What do you mean, Fergus? I was expecting him in every episode from now on.
It's better to just tell you now and let you down gently.
True.
Yeah, it's a shame. You would have been good. But
yeah, definitely.
I don't know if I even have a lot to say about the understudy, to be honest.
Neither do I.
I think it's a fine episode, but I've not got a lot to say on it, really. It's kind of forgettable. I kind of wish I'd watched this one before we recorded this to kind of refresh myself.
I will say I liked the kind of making it look like it's his wife.
Yeah.
Like the setup with that. And you really, well, for me at least, I believed that. I was like, oh, it's her. And then the twist is it's the other lady. But I don't have a lot to say about it personally. What have you got it out of 10?
I've got an 8. No, that's a 7. I don't know what was going on. I must have been on crack when I rated some of these. This is a 7.
I've got it as a 7.
7 out of 10.
Solid episode. Like, we'd watch again, but
yeah. I'm looking at the picture. I can't even recognize Rhys either. His hair. He looks very young.
Yeah, he does.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so understudy, and then next is hold on a minute.
You alright?
Yeah, just give me a sec. Oh, no, it's not loading.
Oh, rip.
Well, anyway, the next one is The Harrowing.
The Harrowing.
Not huge on The Harrowing at all.
No.
Okay, it's finally loaded. Yeah, the understudy is rated 18 for some reason. The Harrowing's only 15.
I saw that there's right. The only 2 episodes that I've seen are rated 18 because I'm a weirdo and scroll through them all and looks at what the age ratings are. Is that an Empty Orchestra?
What the fuck?
Because they use the C word twice in Empty Orchestra.
But isn't that in sign language anyway, though?
Yeah.
That's weird.
But yeah, there's like, I can't remember what was the one that was rated. There was one that was rated 12, and I was like, that should be higher. And like, there's some real dark stuff. I feel like if you're going to rate anything an 18, it should be like, I don't know, Riddle of the Sphinx or something. There's some really dark stuff happening.
Even in season 1, The Harrowing feels more like an 18 than
definitely
the understudy.
Definitely. Strange.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm not big on The Harrowing.
I've gone on record saying The Harrowing is my least favorite episode of the show. I've reconsidered it a bit, and I don't know that I'd still agree with myself on that.
Okay.
But it's down there. I think maybe one episode I dislike more is Nine Lives Cat from season 6, maybe 7.
Yes, you've spoke about that one.
Yeah, not huge on that episode. You might like Nine Lives Cat, actually. It seems like kind of thing to be up your street.
Okay.
I won't spoil anything about that one, but I just didn't feel like it paid off very well.
Fair.
But the Harrowing, really not keen on this one. I will say right off the bat, I really like the performances in it. I think Rhys's performance in The Harrowing is one of my favorites of his throughout the whole show.
He's brilliant. Helen McCrory's brilliant.
Helen McCrory and Amy Fionn Edwards is this girl's name, and she's also really good in it.
And the girl playing her friend.
I thought she was okay.
She's good in it too, I thought.
Yeah, she's pretty decent. Oh, and Andras. Who could forget Andras at the end?
Yes. I will say it gave me real, just classic horror movie vibes.
Yeah, it's very gothic horror feeling, and that's why I was really excited to watch it, because I seen it at the end of season 1, I was like, oh, I can't wait to get to that. I love kind of gothic horror, and it would be fun to see her take on it. And I was vibing with it for the first like 2 acts, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just kind of fell apart a bit, I feel.
Have you ever seen The Others with Nicole Kidman?
No.
It kind of reminded me of that. It's a very similar vibe.
Sure.
And I do like that vibe. Like the thing I like the most about The Harrowing, I think, is the whole vibe.
Yeah.
And like the kind of spooky nature to it.
Sure.
And especially when the two kind of owners of the house leave.
Yeah.
In the house by herself, and she's like walking around, like the bit with the cat.
Yeah.
It's just like frozen. I'm like, that's freaky. Like, I'd run a mile.
It's cool how it comes to life later on. That's pretty fun.
Yeah. But in terms of endings to an episode,
it ends on a cliffhanger, which is weird for a standalone episode of a TV show.
Yeah, it ends on a cliffhanger, and I kind of get it. I guess I personally think it was kind of making fun of cliffhangers in a way.
Okay.
I don't know how you feel about that, but like that's kind of what it gives to me. Like,
I see where you're coming from with it.
It's a very on the nose cliffhanger.
Yeah,
and I almost feel like that's the joke.
I guess
like, it's the last episode of a series.
Yeah. I guess kind of
stories, and it's a cliffhanger. Like,
I kind of get why they didn't show her getting possessed, because they describe it as like reverse pregnancy, I think, or reverse childbirth, which is I don't want to even imagine what that's like. So
no.
I can imagine why they don't, especially because they strip her down for the possession.
That would have definitely got the 18 rating.
Yeah. Don't know if the BBC would have aired it, to be honest, but
no.
Yeah, it feels like a bit of a wet ending almost. It goes out with a fizz.
That's fair. That is fair.
But yeah, there's a lot I like about it. I think Steve and Helen McCrory or not Reese, I meant to say, are really good in it.
I thought the design of Andras was sick.
Yeah, Andras was really good.
He was creepy, man.
Yeah, like, really.
Kind of gave me the sloth in Seven vibes.
Sure.
Like that kind of weird.
I thought you were gonna say Sloth from the Goonies.
I mean, yeah, that too.
Not far off her. Yeah, no, I do like Andras. I was really looking forward to Andras being revealed as Steve Pemberton when they were building up to him. Not episode.
Yeah.
Watch him.
That would have been funny, actually.
Yeah.
Do you know what would have been even funnier if there was like nothing wrong with Andras? It was just like
chilling. I thought that's what the twist was going to be. They were like really obsessed with this, and like they'd kind of been indoctrinated by their parents maybe into thinking Andras was possessed, and Andras had been told that he was a demon, and he believed it as well. But at the end, really, and that would have been a really sick twist as well. But
yeah, I really liked the vibe. Some of the humor was quite nice, I thought. Like the fact that he only eats, is it like Ritz crackers or something?
Yeah, some shit like that.
Like, I thought that was quite funny. And yeah, I didn't see the twist that our friend was going to be in it. I didn't see that.
That's a pretty interesting one. I feel like I kind of do like the ending in a way, because we're conditioned to think she's the final girl, so she's obviously going to be able to overpower him and escape.
Yeah.
And it'll be like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm glad they subvert that. But it just kind of fizzles out, I think.
That's fair.
It ended, and I watched the whole thing with my dad. It ended, and we just turned to each other and like, oh, is that it? Is it? I guess that's it over then.
Yeah.
That's season 1 finished.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah,
I get you.
It just feels like a poor way to end it, but.
Yep. But I what I took from the ending was a kind of piss take on cliffhangers.
Sure. Yeah.
I get it. I kind of appreciated, but on a whole, 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. Not one that I would. Oh, why have I got it at 7? What is going on?
Fergus,
I must have been really reluctant to.
Your true opinions are being exposed.
I feel like I was like, oh, I don't want to disappoint Stephen Reese by giving it a lower rating.
They're looking at your ratings on IMDb.
I hope we're not watching this. Oh god. Yeah. So season 1 on the whole, I guess. And we didn't talk about most evil characters or morally dubious characters. Understudy, it's got to be the manager or the
Yeah, and the
assistant.
harrowing. I mean, it has to be kind of them all except for the main girl.
Yeah, Andras, there's a case to be made for that because obviously being a demon is basically about as evil as anyone can get. But I guess
Yeah.
also her friend Shell,
Yeah.
I see is her name.
Yeah.
I think definitely is the most morally dubious because at least Andras is full evil, but she's manipulated her friend and sacrificed her for
Yeah.
building up her trust and all this.
For sure. So yeah, season 1 on a whole,
I think
good.
starts out really strong. The first 3 episodes are really peak, and then
Yep.
the second half isn't quite there.
Yep.
The understudy kind of
I agree.
salvages it a bit in the middle, but
I
yeah.
agree. I agree
First
with
half of season 1.
everything you said.
Yeah, first half of season 1 is great.
Yep.
Um,
Okay, season 2.
Season 2, on the other hand, very different opinion on that. I think every episode in season 2 is great, except maybe the last one. But
Yeah.
5 out of 6 ain't bad. And starting off with La Couchette.
La Couchette is really funny.
Yeah. So we watched this with my mum because we were like, we're gonna watch this. Do you want to watch it with us? And so we watched this, and she really liked it. And then she was like, I'm gonna go to bed in a moment. You guys put on the next episode because I just put this on because I was like, I want to impress mum and show her a good episode, and I hear good things about this one, so I'll put this on. And she's like, okay, I'm going to bed now. You guys can watch the next episode. And the next episode was Last Gasp. And she ended up watching that, and she did not think highly of Last Gasp. None of us did, to be fair.
No.
I think my dad fell asleep.
Yeah.
But La Couchette is really good.
La Couchette is really good. Again, really good characters in it.
Yeah. Yeah, and the cast is brilliant.
Really, probably one of the more funny episodes. Like,
yeah,
it's really funny.
Yeah, and it goes into a bit of gross out comedy at some point. With Steve's character constantly farting and burping and all this, and then at the end he shits in a box.
Almost kind of like in-betweeners, kind of gross out humor in a way.
I guess I'm not huge on that kind of style of humor, but I can accept it. It's only one episode.
I like it, man. I like gross out humor.
I know you do. I know you love poops and butts and farts and
give me a fart joke any day.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole cast are really good in it. Jack Whitehall's
good. I'm just looking at the cast. Julie Hesmond and Mark Benton are the married couple.
Mark Benton's really good in it.
Yeah, they're brilliant.
Jessica Gunning, who obviously has
Baby
recently
Reindeer.
played Baby Reindeer.
And the first adipose victim.
Yes. And Reece Shearsmith, again, really good performance.
Brilliant, yeah. I've often tried to kind of figure out who I prefer between Reece and Steve, but I couldn't really pick. I think they both bring a lot to the table in different ways.
I think Reece, personally, for me.
I feel like Reece is the better actor when it comes to more dramatic stuff, but Steve is really good at comedy.
I often, and I don't know why I'm like this, but when it comes to like comedy duos, I often like the straight man more than I like the funny guy.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same.
I get a lot out of Reece. I think he's a really good performer.
Yeah, I love both of them, but yeah, I think Reece for more dramatic stuff works well.
Yeah,
and Steve is very goofy and silly, so they both have a lot that they bring to the show.
And La Couchette is a really good episode. Personally, my favorite twist.
Really good twist in this one. I kind of predicted it a little bit, but I didn't.
Okay.
So I guess once again, spoiler alert. Even though we put a big spoiler alert at the start of the episode, I guess we'll use this as an opportunity to do one of those big spoiler alerts where you should go and watch this before we talk about it.
Yep.
The twist at the end is that the dead guy they find was killed by Steve, or not Steve, Reece. Who's a rival doctor for this interview that he's on the train to go to. So he kills this rival doctor, so he gets the job.
That bit,
the first reveal.
So that bit I kind of got. I was like, I think out of everyone, it's probably Reece that's done this.
Yeah, I guess that because we know Reece is a doctor, he'd have means to discreetly kill this guy.
Yep.
But the second twist, and this is like Tom and Jerry, where it comes in with a double twist.
Yep.
Is that it wasn't him that was the rival doctor. It was Steve Pemberton's character, who's like a bumbling drunk.
Genius, man.
It's brilliant.
It's so good. And it's so funny when Steve like walks through and he's like in his suit and he's like, And he's like,
like shakes his hand.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like Reece Shearsmith is just standing there like, yeah, what? It's just it's so good.
Bro, yeah, it's a great
and
reveal.
I do think in terms of comedy, it's probably the one that has made me maybe laugh the most. Because I was that, and we'll get to it in our next Inside Number 9 video, but Zanzibar made me laugh a lot.
Zanzibar, yeah, that's a good one.
But yeah, the Le Couchette, really, I was like, I watched it on holiday on the little TV in our house, and Mum was there, and I think she was maybe like reading a book or something, so she was like catching it in the background, and I was just like absolutely pissing myself laughing.
Yeah,
I was, like dying laughing.
I think Le Couchette is like a really great. If you wanted to introduce a show to someone, Le Couchette would be a really good one to, because I showed it to my mum and she really liked it, and that was her first episode. And it does a lot of what Inside Number 9 does really well, where it's really funny throughout, and then at the end, it's the twist is really good.
Yes,
I think.
Yes, I agree.
It's a bit like Sardines, I think, and it feels very claustrophobic the whole episode. Just because of how small the train compartment Varian is. I think it does that really well, and I fucking would hate to be in one of them, by the way.
Oh yeah,
having people like climbing up and down and all this.
Yeah, no wonder he murdered someone, man.
Yeah, like... I'm surprised he didn't kill them all though. Yeah.
But yeah, it's, and I liked how the little reveals throughout, like as to why, because they're like, oh, let's stop the train.
Yeah.
And then each of them are like, oh, Jack Whitehall's like, oh, I've not got a ticket.
Yeah.
And then the others like, oh, we've got a wedding to meet, and I'm like, it's just really well done.
And it feels, I feel there's definitely an influence from Murder on the Orient Express. I think they definitely took a lot of influence from that, and it's a really fun little play on that.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, good episode.
Great episode. I've got it 8, but it's closer to 9 than 7.
I've got it as an 8. Again, closer to 9 than 7 for sure.
I think I
feel like an 8's a nice place.
Yeah. And it's a great kind of just introductory episode. It does everything an Inside Number 9 episode should do.
Yes. Moving on to
a different episode.
Who's the most evil character in Le Couchette?
Oh, Le Couchette. Obviously, it's got to be Reece.
Yeah, Reece Shearsmith.
Oh, yeah. He kills someone. Everyone else is just kind of obnoxious a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, the 12 Days of Christine.
Right off the bat, I'm just going to say probably not going to pick a most evil character from this one, because there isn't really.
Right off the bat, I'm going to say big spoiler warning.
Oh, massive spoiler warning.
Probably the biggest spoiler warning.
Yeah, and I'll also say, just if you haven't seen this, just go watch it. Even if you're not going to watch the rest of Inside Number 9, just go watch this episode on its own as a short film. It will really touch you, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, it's typically regarded as the best episode of the show, right?
Yes. It's definitely up there.
I really enjoyed it, but I didn't like it as much as I thought I was going to.
So I was really worried about this because throughout season 2, you were kind of messaging me your thoughts on every episode, or you did with La Couchette, and then you skipped to Elizabeth Gage, and I was like, "Oh, what about 12 Days of Christine? Is he not going to talk about that?" And I was like, "Does he not like it? Did he not enjoy it?" And so I've been really worried about this.
Right. I'll say off the bat, it's got an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I thought the twist was really well done.
Perfect twist.
But I kind of thought after the twist, and this is going to sound maybe a bit weird, right? So if you say the last 5 minutes is the twist, right? Yeah. There's nothing drawing me to watch this episode again.
Okay, that's fair enough.
At all.
Yeah.
It finished, and I was like, okay, cool twist, but the last 25 minutes have just been like, I couldn't really sit through that again. There's nothing drawing me. There's no particular humor. It's just kind of a woman cutting about her everyday life, and I guess that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
But
so I guess we should, if you're still watching this and you've not seen it, fuck off, go watch it. But the twist is that basically for this whole episode, it's showing it's going through 12 months, and every month we see a bit of her life during a holiday, like New Year's, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, that kind of thing.
Yep.
And as it goes on, everything starts to get a bit more muddled up and confusing, and you're not really sure what's going on. And neither is the main character. You think maybe she's got some kind of mental issue, like she has dementia or something.
Yep.
And then by the end, it's revealed she was dying the whole time, and it's basically her life flashing before her eyes.
Yep.
Which is a really devastating reveal, I think.
Genius. It's
Yeah,
genius.
it's and the way they reveal it, where she's like, "Oh, I know what's going on now," is really quite crushing, I think.
Yeah, disturbing, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Like I get the point of the episode. There's just something about it. I'm not a huge fan of, and I get that it was all tied up nicely at the end. Like I'm not a huge fan, and this could just be my way of watching things, but when you're watching something and you have no comprehension of what could possibly be going on, like when I was watching this and like the egg thing happened,
Yeah.
I'm like, what could have possibly caused that? And I guess it's not as fun when, like with Le Couché, or like better examples probably. I'm trying to think of one where you're like Tom and Jerry, for example. You're kind of like guessing what's going to happen as it goes along.
Yeah, you're kind of figuring it out.
With 12 Days of Christine, you have no clue what's going on till the end.
Sure, I kind of get that, but I do think there's a good bit of misdirection where they kind of make it seem like Reese's character is her boyfriend who died, and he's kind of come back as a ghost and is haunting her. Is kind of the angle it seems to be going for, which was unintentional. I've listened to the Inside Number 9 podcast, which is called Inside Number 9, and we've done an episode on 12 Days of Christine, and it just turned out that the actor that played her boyfriend looked like Reese Shearsmith, and they're not intended to look similar at all.
Brilliant.
But everyone just thought that's the reveal they were going for, which I guess worked out for them.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I can't put it into words. It's just I don't like when you can't kind of guess along, like because when I'm watching something, I want my brain to kind of be going, okay, this could possibly be happening, but also this could possibly be happening. But when I was watching 12 Days of Christine, my mind was just kind of blank. I was like, okay, I'm guessing I'm watching someone's life with weird stuff happening, and then the ending happens. Like, oh, all makes sense, but like it's
yeah, and I think the reveal is really great in terms of like how it changes your kind of how you feel about the episode. Your I don't know how you perceive it in terms of like you think that Reese's character is like abducting the baby, but he's actually coming in to rescue it from the car crash.
Yeah,
stuff like that. I think, and the eggs being like her groceries that have been broken in the car crash, all that stuff. It recontextualizes everything, and I think the ending is really like quite emotional. It was really devastating.
Definitely.
I got choked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often, but more and more often these days it seems.
Yeah, I really like the ending. I thought the ending was genius. And I really appreciated the episode. Like as I said, I've got it sounds like I'm slating it. I've got it an 8 out of 10. Like really positive score. I just can't see myself getting much out of it on a rewatch.
Sure. Yeah, I have rewatched it since, and I guess it doesn't have the same emotional impact the second time around. But you do kind of once you know what's going on, it makes everything a bit more obvious, and it's it is kind of fun knowing what's going to happen and all the little hints they give you.
I will say Sheridan Smith's excellent in it.
Brilliant. Yeah, she's fantastic.
She's so good. She's such a good actress, man. She's fantastic in everything she's in.
Yeah, and she just plays a very like real character in this. Like just all the characters in 12 Days of Christine, I said this before, we're not really going to pick an evil character from this. It's just because they're normal people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like they're all kind of flawed in their own ways, but
I guess you could say Reese Shearsmith in a way because he caused the car crash.
But even then, it's an accident.
It was an accident, yeah.
He's not going out of his way to kill this woman.
Second twist, it was all planned.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but I think, and they do a good job coming up with a way to make it, one scene every month, even though there's not a holiday every month. Like summer is surprisingly sparse when it comes to holidays. So we have like her birthday for one of them, and then the next one is we're going on her family holidays or whatever.
I'll tell you what it reminded me of.
Mhm.
Have you watched any of the new Doctor Who yet?
No.
Fergus.
I'm
It
sorry.
reminded me of 73 Yards.
I'll keep that in mind.
It's similar vibes, I thought.
Okay.
And I honestly could see it in a weird way of being a weird Doctor Who kind of concept.
Sure. Yeah.
I actually could see a lot of Inside Number 9 episodes being a
Yeah.
weird Doctor Who concept. But yeah, I definitely like the 12 Days of Christine. Not personally my favorite episode of the show. I don't think I'd even call it top 5.
It's definitely in my top 5. I love
Okay.
12 Days of Christine. I've got a 9.
I've got it as an 8.
Again, I think the emotional impact of it is really, it's really something.
The only episode I felt myself getting choked up at is Bernie Clifton's dressing room. I watched just before I started recording this.
And I think it's probably the most perfect episode of the show. But we'll talk about that in the future.
Yes.
But yeah, 12 Days of Christine is great. Very, very emotional. Pretty funny as well.
Yep.
And the characters are all real and believable.
Yep.
Yeah, love it. The scene where they have the argument before the holiday as well, it feels very real.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that.
For sure. Definitely.
Again, yeah, I do agree with you. Not entirely rewatchable. I have rewatched it, but I don't think I would again for a bit.
That's fair. That was the only thing I really didn't like about it is I couldn't see myself watching this again and not being slightly bored during the first 25 minutes.
Sure. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to
also, by the way,
yes.
There's like a running joke, I guess, but Reese Shearsmith fucking hates the 12 Days of Christine.
Okay.
Because everyone says it's the best episode and he's barely in it.
Oh.
So he just acts like he despises it. Yeah. To be fair, Steve's hardly in it either.
Yeah, it's a very Stephen Reese light episode.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah.
It's good to have that every now and again. But going from Stephen Reese light episode to more Stephen Reese heavy episode with the Trial of Elizabeth Gadge.
Trial of Elizabeth Gadge reminded me very much of Horrible Histories.
Yes, exactly. Even down to having Jim Howick.
Jim Howick's in it.
It's a shame. You know the 6 Idiots, the Horrible Histories and Ghost cast?
Yes.
It's a shame they're not all in every episode. There's only 3 of them. Ben Wilbond in Sardines, Jim Howick and Elizabeth Gadge, and then Matthew Bainton in Diddle Diddle Dumpling.
Yes.
But the rest of them aren't in it. Very sad.
Yeah, that's sad. They should have got them all in it.
Yeah.
To be fair, I feel like the Jim Howick casting is on purpose.
Yeah, because it's really the only episode set in the past. I think.
It seems very on purpose. Like, I'm sure I caught that another time in the show. It's in what's it called? Private View. In Private View, the woman playing the author that's blind was in the Agatha Christie episode of Doctor Who, and she even like mentions Agatha Christie in the episode. I was like, is that kind of on purpose?
Just you wait.
Oh.
Yeah, never. In fact, in the same episode as Noel Clarke, there's never linked to the Agatha Christie episode. Yeah, which by the way,
I'm excited for that.
By the way, really underrated episode of Doctor Who.
I agree. I
love the Unicorn and the Wasp.
Unicorn and the Wasp was great.
I watched it as a kid. It really freaked me out.
Yeah, it is a bit freaky, and also I kind of love how it shows what happened to Agatha Christie, but in Doctor Who's own kind of weird way.
Yeah,
it's smart. Anyway, Trial of Elizabeth Gadge.
We can talk about that another time.
Yes,
Elizabeth Gadge. First of all, just want to say Stephen Reese are once again really great.
Yep, agreed.
Also, David Warner, who plays the kind of town mayor. I suppose he's like the judge.
Really funny.
He's really funny. I love the bit where they're going through the tools and they're like, yes, this is the pear. We put it into any orifice and expand it until the point. And he's like, pleasure.
Yeah.
And then he tries to nick it later on.
Yeah, I really liked his character. I did like the humor in it.
Yes.
Definitely appreciated it. Liked the dialogue. How it was kind of old English.
Yeah, I think it's one of her funniest episodes. In my opinion.
That's fair. Yeah, I definitely did laugh a lot at
Mhm.
it. The twist, it's one of the only times I fully predicted what's going to
So
happen.
yeah, I don't think the twist is bad by any means, but
Mhm.
when you're doing when you're doing an episode set during a witch trial,
Mhm.
and it's a show that's regarded for having twists,
Mhm.
you know the twist is going to be she was a witch the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
But
As soon as I kind of worked out what the episode was going to be, I was like,
yeah,
the twist is going to be she was a witch the full time. And
and
then as it went on, I was like, I guarantee he sends Reese Shearsmith's character
mhm.
to get executed instead of the witch, and then it's revealed that she was a witch.
But I
And
think that
it all unfolded in front of my eyes.
I think the twist with him executing Reese's character is really good, though. I think that works quite well,
It
and
works.
is
I just
also
thought it
very
was a
much
bit predictable.
deserved. Very
Yes,
deserved for that character. He was
for
horrible.
sure.
But the thing is that I don't really like about the Elizabeth Gage twist, where she is a witch the whole time, is that she, if you're gonna do an episode where you're going for how ridiculous and hypocritical the witch trials are,
mm,
to at the end be like, oh, she was a witch, makes you feel like, well, maybe these trials are more justified then.
I agree. I definitely agree with that.
I feel like it
Yeah.
kind of goes against the message of the episode.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Um, there was one scene that I was absolutely dying laughing at. It was the bit where Reese Shearsmith's character puts like the cheese down
Yeah,
and then lets the mouse, and it's like, let the mouse find his
let the
owner.
demon find its master, kind of thing. Yeah,
I thought that was fun, and that really reminded me of like Horrible Histories.
yeah,
And I kind of like that whole kind of showing how hypocritical the Salem witch trials kind of were,
yeah.
and that whole kind of period of history, how messed up it was.
Sure,
And again,
and
that
I
is something that Horrible History's done a lot. That kind of tongue in cheek kind of
yeah,
humor.
yeah, for sure. And Reese's character kind of going in, being like, I know she's guilty. I'm determined to give a guilty verdict, no matter what kind of evidence we get presented with. And Steve's character being more like, he's actually more reasonable and is
Yeah,
willing to listen to the evidence.
yeah,
I like that dynamic. And then Reese is kind of able to threaten him with being like, "Oh well, we're gonna have to try you for being a witch if you keep coming up with this nonsense."
yeah. Also, the surnames. Nutter is one of the
Yeah,
surnames.
Nutter and
There's
Two
also
Shoes.
Richard Two Shoes.
Yeah, his goody two shoes.
Is just that's funny. Like that
One
is
thing
just
about the
funny.
last names, although, is Mr. Clark is spelt with an E, which is not how we spell Clark.
Yes,
So,
exactly. We do not spell Clark like
no,
that.
that's not how we do that.
Overall, personally, for me, not a great episode. It's good.
Yeah, I like it. I'm a
Um,
big fan.
yeah, I can't see myself watching it again. I think the twist kind of ruins it personally for
Yeah,
me. I
and the
really
CGI
appreciate.
when she takes off at the end is a bit
Oh,
dodgy.
yeah. I appreciate the humor a lot.
Yeah,
I liked
it's a
what it was
very funny
going for.
episode.
Out of 10, a 6.
I've got to 8.
Okay.
Probably closer to 7 and 9.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm a big fan of this episode. In any other show, it would be great, but in Inside Number 9, especially in season 2, it feels like kind of a miss. Like if it was
Yeah,
in a later
I
season,
agree.
it would be a standout, I think.
I feel like coming off the back of 12 Days of Christine, it
Yeah,
feels
and then
exceptionally.
before Cold Comfort as well.
Yeah, cold.
Sandwiched in between them two, it's yeah.
Yeah,
And oh,
yeah.
most evil character,
And Elizabeth Gage?
Elizabeth Gage. I think probably Reese.
Yeah,
It's
probably
hard to
Reese
say.
or Elizabeth Gage.
Yeah, between Reese or the literal witch, or
Yeah.
to be fair, also Jim Howick's character though, for setting up his
Yeah.
mother-in-law like that, and
Yeah,
clearly he only wants like the extra space in the house.
There are a lot of like bad people in that
Yeah.
episode.
I think that's the case with a lot of episodes.
Yeah.
But
Well,
next up, I guess, is Cold Comfort.
I
Gr-
love Cold
One
Comfort.
of the best episodes. I guess big spoiler warning for this one. Go out and watch this.
Yes.
This is a really brilliant episode. So the gimmick of this one is that it's filmed from CCTV footage inside an office cubicle.
Yep.
in a call center, an emotional support call center.
Yep.
And right off the bat, I just think the scene where Reese gets a phone call from Chloe, and she says that she's taken some pills, I think is really, really haunting. That's a
It's
really
creepy.
devastating scene. Yeah, really creepy.
It's really creepy. That's the first thing I got from the episode. And when she phones again,
Yeah.
and it's the same dialogue,
Yeah.
I was like, this is like, I just often like, I feel like a lot of people don't kind of put themselves in the scenario when it comes to horror scenarios, but I'm like, I find it even creepier. I was like, what if that was me?
Yeah.
Like, I'm bringing up Doctor Who again, but like with that 73 yards episode, it's like this woman staying 73 yards away from you at all times. And I'm like, imagine that was you. Like, imagine that was happening to you. And I felt that a lot with Cold Comfort. Like, imagine getting a phone call that was the exact same dialogue. It's just little subtle things like that that I find the most creepy.
Yeah.
But really good episode.
And I love the effect that it has on him, but has really huge consequences down the line. Because the next phone call he gets is from a woman who's an elderly woman who's struggling to cope with the loss of her cat, and he's just heard someone take his own life, as far as he knows. So he kind of just snaps and he's like, "Oh well, it's not really a big deal though, is it? You can just get another cat." And then we later learn that's caused her to shove her head in the oven and kill herself.
Yeah, and again, it kind of shows like what words can do, like how you should be really careful with. Exactly. Like, even though it might seem a little thing to you, it could be a big thing to someone else.
Especially in that line of work.
Yes, definitely.
It's made me Philly put me off working in that kind of situation.
Yeah, I wasn't all for working in that kind of situation anyway, but I'm definitely not for it now, especially if I get a call from Chloe.
Oh god, yeah.
I don't fancy that.
Fuck Chloe.
And then the twist.
Yeah, so the twist, I like the misdirection in this one where you think it's his coworker that's behind him.
Yep.
Basically the whole time. There's even a scene where he gets a phone call from Chloe and you can see her on the phone behind him.
Yeah,
and I
was working it all out. I was like, yep, definitely.
Oh, it's gotta be her. And then the reveal at the end of it is actually Reese is fucking mental. Like you would not, just because it's Chloe and a girl, you're instantly kind of rule out Reese as being behind it.
Yep. I will say, and this is the only thing I probably don't like about the episode, right? And it's such a nitpick, so I'm sorry, but like when Reese phones back after you know it's him, the voice sounds so different. Like, Reese is just doing an impression.
I get that.
Sound like Chloe. Like, it obviously wasn't Chloe doing the voice.
Yeah, I kind of understand that. Yeah, but is that phone call, of course, leads to a really funny ending, where it turns out that the son of the woman that put her head in the oven and killed herself, who we learned earlier was like an army vet, shows up in the call center behind him and pulls a gun on him, and it absolutely just cuts to credits and plays "Shine" by Take That, which is the song that Steve had to sing on the phone to Chloe earlier.
Brilliant! It's so well done, and I also loved the bit where they figure out what's going on. There is no audio.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's no, they're not doing it in his little cubicle. They're like away from it in Reese's office, and there's literally no audio. You don't know what they're saying, but just their visual like reaction. I was like, that's genius.
I love the scene. In that scene when you see Reese coming back from the toilet or whatever, coming back to his office, and you're like, oh shit, he's gonna find out, or like, what's he gonna do?
Yeah,
he seems really unstable. He could probably kill them. And then he kind of runs off when he realizes that he's fucked and he's been caught.
Yeah,
I like that. I feel like a lesser show would have had him actually go in and like beat them up or whatever.
Definitely. It actually reminded me of. Have you ever seen the UK Office?
I've seen bits of it, or I've seen the first episode and then a couple scenes from it.
There's a scene in the UK Office where he's basically Martin Freeman's character's going to ask out one of the office ladies. And he doesn't want to do it on mic, so he like takes the mic off and sits it down, and you just see them like talking with like no audio,
Mhm.
and you just see them like talking, and then she's like starts crying, and then he comes out and just picks up the mic and goes, "She said no, by the way," and drops it again. And I'm like, it reminded me of that, like
Sure.
showing, not telling in a way.
Yeah, and the
Um,
same setting as well in an office, of course.
yes.
Uh,
I just thought it was genius.
mhm.
Absolutely genius.
And I love the two female coworkers, the rivalry we've got going on, and we're kind of constantly bitching to Steve Pemberton about it. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah,
It feels real.
yeah, definitely.
My
Like remind you of stuff that would actually happen in like an office like that.
Yeah, my dad started just working in an office environment, and he's always got this exact same situation with these two different ladies who are always bickering each other and talking to him about the other. So yeah, it
Yeah.
definitely feels real. And um, we should have pointed out where the hair was in each episode if we could remember. But I know this one, I only caught it the second time I watched it, is in Reese's office.
Is it?
Yeah, next to the phone, which is, by
I
the way, another really good detail because you can see Reese on the phone during the first phone call with Chloe, and it looks like he's doing
ah
paperwork, but you can see him on the phone, and he kind of subtly puts it down once the call ends.
see, that's more one that I'd be more inclined to rewatch
Yeah,
to pick up all the little details
yeah,
that I missed. But yeah, I think Cold Comfort's excellent. By far my favorite in season 2.
yeah, and it's had an effect on me in terms of the other day I was eating my lunch and the radio was on. They started playing Shine, and I was just like shell shocked.
Yeah, gives that song a whole other meaning, like After
Yeah,
Sun and Under Pressure. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but yeah, Cold Comfort, excellent,
brilliant episode.
really
Top
excellent.
5 for me.
Probably so far, yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah,
I think I've got it. Well, have I got it? I was going to say a 9. Yeah, I've got it as a 9.
yeah, I've got it in 9 as well.
A 9, pushing on a 10.
Yeah, honestly,
But I laughed unintentionally when it was Reese doing just a bad
sure,
impression of Chloe, and I'm like,
sure.
it's not been the same voice actor.
Yeah.
And I get why. But it would have been, I think, even freakier if Reese was like his mouth was moving and the woman who done the voice for Chloe was like lip syncing over the top of it.
Yeah,
That would have been even creepier.
sure,
They should
yeah.
have done that, but like, yeah, it was just a bit unintentionally funny.
Yeah, no, I get that. But I love Cold Comfort.
Yeah.
And then oh, and I will say one more thing. I mentioned this to you before, but the
Mhm.
whole film's filmed from a CCTV camera. And in series 9, there's another episode called Mulberry Close, which is
Yep.
filmed from a Ring doorbell. And it almost feels like we're kind of paying tribute to Cold Comfort, which is a fan favorite. And they're kind of like,
Yeah,
well, it's the last season. Let's go back to
for
our
sure.
roots.
I'm
I like
looking
that.
forward to getting to it.
It's a really good episode. One of my
Yeah.
favorites.
Okay.
And next is Nana's Party.
Nana's Party.
I really like Nana's Party.
It's similar to how I felt about the trial of Elizabeth Gadge. I
Mm,
appreciated the humor in it.
sure.
But it was just kind of a little bit of a disposable kind of episode for me.
Sure. Okay, I
Um,
feel that.
it was
I
just
think
kind
weirdly
of
this is my
standard.
sure. I think this is weirdly my mom's second favorite episode that I've showed her.
Okay.
She really likes Nana's Party, but I really love this one. I guess spoilers for not really a twist in this one, but it opens up with a paramedic coming to the house, and it's called Nana's Party, and you're like, oh no, what's gonna happen to Nana?
Yeah.
Oh no, what's gonna happen here? And then later on, it's revealed it's a stripper.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
fun. And that whole scene where he's stripping to the Casualty theme song is brilliant.
That was like I really found it funny. Like
Yeah.
it was really cleverly written.
Mhm.
Um, and I like how the full thing was kind of set around this kind of prank gone wrong.
Yeah.
And just wanting to get kind of your revenge on this person, and then
Yeah.
it almost like backfires on you.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
It ruins everyone's day. Everyone has a shit day. Except
yeah,
Nana. She seems happy by the end.
yeah, I like Nana.
I love
Um,
Nana. I love a bit when she's like trying to show off her cool Clash of Clans base or whatever.
yeah, and I really liked Reece Shearsmith in it.
He's
He
really I love the voice he does.
Yeah, Yeah, and I love how
hello,
he has,
Steve, kind of thing.
yeah, I love all his little like pranks and stuff that he's got, like
Yeah, the spiders and the ice cubes that like kind of
like the
come back
classic,
later.
and he like changes the soap out for one of those like purple
Yeah,
soaps.
yeah. It's
It's
Chekhov's ice cube, isn't it? When
yeah,
that comes back later and Nana's choking on it.
yeah. It's a clever episode for sure. It just
Yeah,
in the bigger picture, it just feels a little bit
sure.
okay. Nana's party's there. That kind of it's a fun time,
Yeah,
but I won't be checking
that's
out
fair enough.
anything.
I really enjoy it. I like the bit where she's under the table with her head in the cake, and Reese comes in and he's like giving back the countdown videos, and then he starts just
Yeah,
talking about how they're like their pornos, and she thinks that he's going out to the shed to watch countdown videos, but
yeah,
it's not.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love that scene.
There is the woman who plays Reese's wife,
Yeah,
right? I watch another show called Two Doors Down,
yeah,
and there's a character in that called Kathy. Those two
hmm
characters, like the same person, like they're
hmm
the exact same mannerisms and like everything. So
sure.
you might, if you ever watch Two Doors Down, you might pick up on that.
All right.
It's like the exact same kind of character. Um, but yeah, it's a really good episode, and it all kind of backfires on Steve Pemberton in the end, and all he was
Yeah.
wanting to do was get back at his friend or family member for this because all he does is prank. And I'm like,
Mm.
yes, it's a clever idea for an
And yeah,
episode.
and ends up escalating to the point where he basically loses everything and his affairs
Yep,
revealed. And yeah,
yep,
I mean, don't really feel bad for him, but he is quite a pathetic character.
yes,
And I guess if you're gonna pick a most evil character, probably him. Not
yeah,
evil, but definitely most morally dubious.
yeah. Nana's the best character. Nana's a
Nana's
legend.
great. Love Nana. She should get her
Yeah,
own show.
yeah.
She
They
should
should
just
do
like
it.
they should
They,
edit the show so she just waltzes into every episode at some
they
point and just kind of
they should
comments on what's happening.
they should recast her and put Catherine Tate in the role and make a movie called the Nana
Oh,
Movie.
the Nana movie,
The
yeah.
Nana Movie.
Oh, I
Um,
love the card as well, by the way. Like, forget about the present. I didn't get you one.
that's clever. It's clever, and it is those kind of crappy birthday cards that you do get.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think Nana's Party is probably about a 7 out of 10 for me.
I've got to 8.
Okay,
I'm a big Nana's Party fan.
that's fair. Again, I can't see myself. It's not one that I would ever choose to rewatch, but if it
Sure.
was on, I'd be like, oh, I'll watch this. I'll
Yeah,
like happily sit and enjoy this.
that's fair enough.
Um,
Okay, let's move on to an episode I know that you're not a huge fan of. Oh my god, what am I thinking? I've got this episode at 8. Hold on.
you've got seance time at 8.
Sorry, I put it down to 7. I was on crack. Okay, I must have been on crack or
Seance
something.
time sucks, Fergus.
I don't think it sucks, but I think it's pretty unmemorable in the grand
It's
scheme of
bad.
things.
It's on the same kind of level as Last Gasp for me.
I don't think it's on Last Gasp level. I rewatched this episode earlier, and I thought it was fine. There was a few moments that made me chuckle. But on the whole, it's just I'm already starting to forget parts of it, and I just watched it a couple hours ago.
It's a very forgettable episode.
I like the concept.
Okay, so I was gonna say I don't like the concept.
Well, it's interesting, I think, because I think in a lot of other shows where it's like, oh, we're going to the haunted house and we're doing a seance, and then at the end, it's after the seance, it's revealed it was for a TV show, like a prank TV show. I think a lot of other shows would have waited until the end, and then be like, oh, it was all for a TV show. But this one, it establishes that early on, and it shows us how it's meant to go. And then the next round, everything goes wrong. Everything that could go wrong does go wrong.
I will say, when it started and when it was revealed it was a TV show, I was like, okay, so the twist is it's going to be actually haunted.
Yeah.
Similar in the way with the Elizabeth Gadge twist, where it's like, oh, she's actually going to be a witch. I was like, so the twist is there's going to be actually something that's haunted.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, that's
sure enough. Yeah. I don't think they really keep that secret, to be fair. I think as soon as he sees the puddle on the ground, he's like, oh, someone needs to clean this up. And then they go to clean it up and it's not there. It's at that point you're like, yeah, it's clearly some chicanery's afoot here.
Yeah.
But yeah. I really like Steve in this episode. He just comes in, and he's like swearing, and he's like, "Oh, don't fucking believe in any of this shit," and then he punches the guy and kills him.
I like Steve in it. Reece Shearsmith, I'm not over. Like, it's a very obvious place to kind of take that character. This kind of arsehole kind of TV personality.
I do like it. I feel like it's what a lot of TV personalities are like behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
But
James Corden.
Weirdly, I get that vibe from Stephen Mulhern.
Yeah, probably.
Kind of, yeah. He feels like a Stephen Mulhern type character.
Sure.
I like a bit where he's like, "Oh, I've been doing fucking bingo adverts. I'm not going back to. I'm not going back to that." Yeah. But yeah,
I also kind of thought I've seen this before from number 9.
Sure.
Especially when they're doing the whole thing where the guy's dead and they're working out their story. I was like, this is Last Gasp. Like,
yeah,
it's a similar kind of. It's the first time in the show where I've been like, I've seen this before.
Yeah, and I mean, there are a couple of laughs that come from that, like the hair and makeup lady being concerned, like, "Oh, it's a rental wig," and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
like that is funny, but I feel like the characters don't have a lot of presence in this one. Whereas even in Last Gasp, I could like clearly identify what who each of the characters were and what their motivations were. But with this one, I didn't feel that a lot. I think probably the character that had the most presence was either Steve's or the actress playing the old lady.
Yeah.
I thought they were both really good standouts in this episode, but apart from that, the other characters felt a bit flat.
Alison Steadman, who's in Gavin and Stacey.
That's right, yes. Yeah, she's really funny in it.
She's good in it, and I feel like there's a lot of actresses who have that kind of attitude.
Yeah. Like, this is kind of below me, I'm just doing this for a paycheck kind of thing.
Yeah, defo. I just didn't connect with this one, like, really at all.
No, it's fine. It's okay.
The concept was just a bit predictable, a bit simple. And
it feels like a really obvious place for an Inside Number 9 episode to go, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah,
like,
and
there's gotta be an episode where it's revealed to be a TV show the whole time.
Yeah, and to round it all off, they do a really cheap, crappy jump scare.
I hate the jump scare. It's not even scary, either.
No,
like,
it's terrible.
Usually, jump scares piss me off because I'm like, okay, that's cheap. But this one pissed me off because like it's not even scary at all.
Yeah.
I guess one thing I do like about it is the whole like this little boy gets humiliated on national TV, and that pushes him to take his own life tragically. I think that's pretty interesting. Again, it's one of those episodes where there's some good concepts in it, but I don't think they're all fully executed as well as I would like.
But isn't that like I feel like I've seen that before as well?
Yeah, but I think it's still interesting to have some commentary on that in terms of the effect that kind of thing could have, like being humiliated on TV. Again, not an entirely unique or original thing, but definitely something that could be explored quite well. And I don't know if Seance Time does it that well.
Sure.
So I've got a 7.
I've got it as a 4.
Sure. I wouldn't say like I wouldn't be shocked and appalled at it, you know.
Yeah.
And in terms of most evil character, I guess probably Reese. I would say for this one, it seems to be Reese quite a lot, but he's like an arrogant cunt, and he's like, he's when this guy comes in being really concerned, like what's gonna happen now? Like I've just accidentally killed a guy. He's like, oh yeah, the show's probably gonna get cancelled, and I'm gonna have to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get blacklisted from the studio.
Yeah, defo Reese.
Yeah.
The most evil character.
Yeah.
And that's season 2 done.
Really strong season though. Apart from Seance Time, I think every episode is a banger.
I think I personally prefer it to season 1. Yeah,
me too. Would say my favorite episode is probably 12 Days of Christine, but Cold Comfort is right behind it.
Comfort's I'd probably say Cold Comfort's my favorite. Le Couchette is my second. 12 Days of Christine's my third.
Sure. Yeah, that's reasonable. I think honestly I'd put Nana's Party above Le Couchette. I don't know why I love Nana's Party so much.
That's fair. Nana's Party definitely is good.
Yeah.
Just not fully rewatchable for me.
Sure.
So we're moving on to season 3.
Oh boy, it's time for my favorite episode, The Devil of Christmas. What do you think of this one, Jack? You've not told me anything about this, because I don't know your thoughts on season 3.
So you don't really know my thoughts on any of season 3
No.
because I watched it all yesterday. You don't know my thoughts on any of these.
Not one episode.
Okay.
I know you like the Riddle of the Sphinx, but we'll get to that in a bit.
Yep. Devil of Christmas. Was really digging the vibe. How it was this. Well, obviously you think it's this kind of direct.
Big spoilers in this one. Go watch it.
Big spoilers.
Massive spoilers.
You think it's this kind of director's commentary.
Yeah.
And I liked that. I was like, this is cool. They're coming in with little tidbits, like they do the whole thing about the painting being on the wrong wall.
Yeah, that's really that's a funny bit.
It's clever, very clever. I thought I had the twist nailed because of previous episodes, like Elizabeth Gadge. I was like, the twist is going to be Krampus is real.
Yeah.
And he's going to kill everyone in the house, and it's like, I don't know, somebody like investigating or like interviewing the director to be like, what the hell happened on the set of this movie? Kind of thing.
You're not a million miles away.
Was not prepared for it to be a snuff film.
Oh, dude, it's such a horrifying twist.
When I realized, so I watched this episode in the bath. I had my iPad set up. I was chilling. I was relaxing, having a nice time. When that happened, I sat upright. I was like, what?
Yeah,
dude. When they put the plastic sheeting down on the bed.
Yeah.
And they're like, she's like audibly like confused. What's this extra scene? It's haunting as hell.
Oh, yeah, absolutely horrifying. I was thinking about this episode like for days after I watched it, just thinking about the end.
Yeah, for sure.
It's an episode that's good to rewatch, I think, because there's a lot of stuff that's recontextualized. The second time, like when the director says, it's hard to find a good child actor for this kind of film. You're thinking it's because it's kind of a horror film.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to find a child actor for that. Not for a snuff film. Yeah. That's not what you're thinking.
Yeah. And then at the end, but it's like, it's actually a police interview.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's so clever.
Yeah.
It's
I guess
genius.
I've seen people complain about the police interview aspect being like, oh, well, why are they letting him, rewind things and point out inconsistencies? And I'm like, just let them have their fun with the format.
Yeah, I agree.
I like to imagine that the guy's like really deluded and he would only speak to the police if he got to go through it and give his commentary on it.
Yeah. I thought of the main, obviously you never see the director.
Yeah.
But you've seen 1 Hour Photo, haven't you?
Yeah.
That kind of character where it's like at the very end of that, he's like, can I see my pictures in the police room? And he's like got them all sprayed out.
Yeah.
And he's like, look at my work kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, you can almost tell
that's exactly what it's like.
He's proud of the film.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just really eerie.
And of course, the director, Dennis Fulcher, played by Derek Jacobi. I never knew how to say his last name.
Is that who's doing the voice?
Yeah, from the iconic Lazarus Experiment episode of Doctor Who.
I didn't know that.
Here's a little tidbit for you, a little fun fact for you. He's, apart from Reese and Steve, and excluding the final episode of the show, he is the only person to appear in more than one episode of Inside Number 9. Yeah. Obviously, his voice is in this one. I might be mistaken about that, but he is one of the only people to appear in multiple episodes. You hear his voice in this one, and then he is fully in an episode called How Do You Plead? Which I think is season 5 or maybe 6. No, season 6.
Okay. Also, directed by Graham Harper.
Graham Harper.
Done a lot of Doctor Who. Done Johnny's End, Waters of Mars.
Which I obviously that's more modern Doctor Who, but I feel like The Devil Christmas has a very old school Doctor Who feel to it in terms of how it's shot, which I really love.
One location, kind of in a studio, 3-camera setup.
And like, the way it looks is phenomenal. It looks so authentic. I'm just looking at the pictures on IMDb, and the clapboard says 1977. Fully believable. I genuinely think, if you didn't know who Stephen Reese were, right, and you got rid of the director's commentary and the twist at the end, you could show someone this and they would believe that it's from 100%. The 70s.
100%. And there's like little bits where like the actress like misses her mark and like stands too far, and like you see Steve just like slowly like make his way into the shop.
Yeah.
Like you see that a lot in like William Hartnell episodes of Doctor Who, like
Sure.
especially
Yeah.
he's later because he was getting old.
Yeah.
And like he'd miss his mark, and the actors would just have to like kind of waddle around to get in frame.
Yeah, the old lady that plays the kind of grandma in it often does that because they say she's not got her glasses on, so she can't see where she's going properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good episode.
I love
my
Devil
jaw
Christmas.
was on the floor when I realized what was going on, because there's that. It's the first time. I don't want to say the first time, and maybe another one that I'm forgetting. But like with all these twists, it's been like a big kind of reveal, and I'm like, oh, that's a cool twist. With this one, I feel like it's a slow kind of reveal.
Yeah.
And like it just kind of sets in what's happening, and I'm like, oh, and I love it when a twist does that, when you slowly realize what's happening.
Yeah, and your heart starts pounding. You're like, oh shit, is this for real?
But yeah, Devil of Christmas is very good.
And the scene at the end when she does get killed, obviously they don't show her actually but you see the machete coming down, and it's really fucking brutal.
Yeah, rated a 12, Fergus.
Yeah, that is absolutely shocking. But yeah, no, don't worry, though. The understudy's 18.
An empty orchestra is an 18.
It's an 18 as well. But Devil Christmas is the most horrifying episode of the whole show, I think. It's tied with one called Wise Owl for me from season 7, which I think is also really creepy and disturbing. But the Devil of Christmas is really, yeah. Yeah, just everything about this episode is great. It's going to be an annual watch every Christmas, I think.
Yeah.
It
doesn't really get you in the Christmas spirit, to be fair.
No. It definitely, because of how it's shot, and they used a lot of old technology, and they went back to an older studio even to film it. It feels like a Roald Dahl's Tale of the Unexpected episode, or Hammer House of Horror. It's definitely paying homage to older anthology shows in that regard.
For sure. Out of 10, I've got it as a 9. You'll be happy here.
Yeah, me too. It's closest to 10.
Yeah, I think it's close to a 10 as well for me.
And one more thing, I love Reese in this episode. His silly little German accent, he's great.
Yeah,
and Steve as well, of course. I said he reminded me of Matt Berry, but
yeah, and also Jessica Raines in the episode.
Yeah, she's brilliant, and she really sells the ending.
Great. She's in. Speaking of Doctor Who, she's in An Adventure in Space and Time. Which is the kind of story of how.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch that. Yeah,
she plays Verity Lambert, the producer. So yeah, she's a fantastic. Genuinely, I've seen her in so many little things here and there, and I think she's a fantastic actress.
And she really sells the ending. It's really important that she's able to sell the absolute terror, because even the director says, you can see the terror in her eyes as they realize what's about to happen.
Yeah,
and she really sells it.
I'll speak to you about this later, off camera, but surprisingly very similar to a short story I wrote a while ago. Which is called The Director. Which is it's eerily similar.
Sure.
To how things happen, but I'll speak to you about that later.
Great episode. My favorite episode of the whole show.
It is definitely a really good one. Next up is The Bill.
The Bill.
The Bill. The Bill. The Bill.
So I have no idea what you think of this one. This is definitely a fan favorite episode. Not one I love, but I do like it. I like The Bill.
Yeah.
I feel like my problem with The Bill is I'm not huge on the ending of it, where he kind of joins in on the whole scam. I don't know why I keep saying spoiler alert. We put one at the start, but he joins in with this whole scam. I don't know if I really love that. Almost, I kind of wish the whole episode was just an argument that gets blown out of proportion, and everything kind of starts going wrong. Like when they bring the knife for the knife game, all that kind of shit. I think I was really invested, and then when it turns out it was a big scam the whole time, I'm like, wow, it's a bit unrealistic that all of that would have worked out so well,
Yeah,
I
I
think
get you.
if it was just a huge argument, then it would have been a better episode for me personally.
Yep, that's fair. First thing I'll say about this, I like keeping the suspense with you, Fergus, and
Yeah.
letting you know if I enjoy it or not. I like feeding little tidbits. First thing I'll say about the episode is I like the whole concept of there's this bill and it's a big argument as to who will settle it. Because that happens. I've been at places where I'll get it. Nope, I'll get it. And everyone's holding up their credit cards. I'll get it. And I'm just sitting there like, just get
All
it.
right, someone do it then. Come on.
I'm not doing it.
Half an hour later.
And I loved how you got that one character played wonderfully by Jason Watkins.
Jason Watkins, brilliant.
Who is
Mr. Saint Bernadette.
Yeah, the kind of what's the cheapskate?
Yeah,
the kind of cheapskate of the group, and it's very cleverly done because there's always that person that outs out every single penny, and he's like, "I owe you exactly £12 and 57 pence."
He's got the hidden money in his shoe.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's very clever.
Remember what his character's like for the finale of the show, by the way, the final episode. Just remember.
You're really picking up this finale, Fergus.
It's a good episode, I think, the finale. Maybe controversial, I don't know. I've seen a few fans that dislike it, but on the whole, I think it's pretty loved. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the bill.
Yeah, so I like the whole concept of there's this bill. And
the big argument.
The big argument. The twist, I personally love.
Okay.
I fell for the whole she gets accidentally her throat slit open, dies, and I was like, oh, okay, they're in big shit. And then they set up the whole prison thing, and he was like, I can get someone to come clean this up. Like I thought, oh, that's quite clever. And then
Mr. Wolf.
Yes, exactly. And then the second twist, again with these second twists, happens where it's revealed that it's all been a big scam to get, was it like £200,000 out of this rich guy that they met? And I thought that was very clever. And then the third twist happens, in which they've been doing this obviously for a long time. And they kind of get the last person they scammed to help with
they end up recruiting him. Because it's like, either you can pay us or you can join us kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I kind of maybe think that they also done it with the women.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
and it's kind of like they've done it loads of times.
Yeah.
I really love the bill. I think.
So I guess the more people you can get in on, the more people you have in your operation, the more smoothly it would go. That's the thing. I did say it felt a bit unrealistic in terms of all the moving parts kind of coming together by the end. But I can even imagine it's like their own restaurant that they own. I could imagine that being the case, and that's how they're able to get it.
Yeah,
because they'll probably have gotten a lot of money from all their scams. So that's kind of what I imagine.
Yeah, definitely.
And I do like the twist that it's all a big scam, but I kind of do wish it was just a huge, silly argument that gets blown out of proportion to the point where like someone gets killed and all this.
That's fair. I really like the twist. I feel like it's another really good stepping on point for the show. Like to give everyone a good idea on what the show's like. The bill is a good one.
I really like the moment at the end where Jason Watkins' character gets more sinister and he's like, "Oh, looks like we've got a problem here." Then when he locks the door,
I was worried they were going to do the whole cliche of him because he reaches up for his glasses. I was worried they were going to do the whole cliche where he takes them off. Like, he never needed the glasses. They're all for the disguise. I like. He almost seems like the kind of mastermind.
Yeah, I think he definitely is.
Very clever episode in my opinion.
It's a good one. I've got an 8.
I've got it as a 9.
That's valid. I know a lot of people love.
Really solid. It's one that I definitely want to rewatch. It's up there in ones that I probably want to show someone else, like my mom or my dad or something.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, and probably most evil character.
I'd say Jason Watkins.
Probably Jason Watkins.
The most evil one. Like they're all pretty shit for being in the scam.
Yeah.
And like you said, he seems like the mastermind.
Another thing that I really love is who's the guy that they're trying to scam the money out of? That guy, what's his name?
Let me check. I've got IMDb in front of me. Let me check. It's Philip Glenister.
Okay. What's his character's name?
Craig.
Craig. I'll call him Craig. The bit where he phones up to get his like housekeeping or something to look in the cupboard.
Yeah.
He's like, look in the right cupboard. No,
don't
look in the left cupboard.
Yeah.
Whatever you do not look in the left
Yeah,
cupboard.
that's really good.
Does it a few times. I'm like, that's funny. Like,
yeah,
we'll never know what's in the left cupboard. It's left up to our imagination. It's clever. Very clever.
Well, I suppose we better get marching on a bit here because we've been going on for a while and we've still got 4 more episodes to go through.
Yep.
Next one being
the Riddle
of the Sphinx.
Yes.
What do you think of this one, Jack?
My favorite episode of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that is really valid. It's
fantastic.
It's another one of those fan favorite episodes. I just rewatched this, in fact, before we started recording. Literally, I was watching the final few minutes of it as you sent the link to join the recording thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a really brilliant one.
It's so clever. Like, how they wrote this is insane.
I'll give you a little bit of trivia.
Yep.
And I think you should listen to the Inside number 9 podcast we've done on the Riddle of the Sphinx. If this is your favorite episode, I think you would enjoy a bit of insight. But basically, I don't know if you know this or not, but the crossword that they have in the episode, they actually submitted into one of the newspapers, I think The Guardian. So the day that this aired, that was the cryptic crossword in The Guardian.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that. That's really cool.
And they used the name The Sphinx as well.
That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, like I found all the stuff with the crossword clever. Like, how do you even come up with this stuff?
And I think Steve wrote it himself as well. I think he done the crossword himself.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, because he's been into it for a while, I think.
It all connects, and like even like to the point where you across the board, it's like written out words and stuff.
Yeah, and every word has a kind of double meaning by the end.
Yeah, it's so clever and very dark twist to this one as well.
Yes, really dark.
Yeah,
it's
Reese forces Steve to eat his daughter's flesh.
Oh shit! We should have given it a big spoiler warning.
It doesn't matter. Big spoiler warning.
Big spoiler warning. Yeah, so they mention Oedipus a lot throughout this episode. And that's clearly, a big inspiration for it. Because the story of Oedipus, for those unaware, it's a Greek tragedy about this guy who basically kills his own father and shags his own mum. And then when he finds out, I think he kills himself.
Yeah.
Which is what happens in the Riddle of the Sphinx as well, by the end.
So he kisses his own daughter without knowing.
Yeah, and he kind of caresses her thigh.
Yeah, basically sexually assaults his own daughter.
Yeah, it's a little old boy. You could say.
A little old boy. Yeah. And then Reese comes in and makes him eat a bit of his daughter.
Yeah, and
then
Reese's whole plan is absolutely mental and really diabolical, I think.
Yeah. It's genius. It's just I thought it was very cleverly dark. And it was almost, I feel like if it went any darker, it would be too dark.
I feel
right
that.
amount. And I was obsessed with all the crossword stuff. I loved it. I loved the way they done all that stuff because I'm not a cryptic crossword fan, but I like me a crossword.
Sure.
And the way it's all laid out and it all ties in and every word is there for a reason. I just thought it was genius.
Yeah.
Absolutely genius.
Even the main character, well, not the main character, but the girl calls herself Nina, which in itself is a crossword reference because of a famous crossworder from the past. He would hide his own daughter Nina's name into a lot of crosswords. So even that's a clever little reference.
Yeah, for sure. It was another one that I was constantly trying to guess the twist because I feel like I was like, oh, she evil, but then blah blah. But they kind of do another kind of double twist where it's kind of revealed that she's evil, and then she's actually getting double crossed, and it's actually Steve that's getting double crossed, and it's brilliantly done. Yeah, I definitely think my favorite episode of the show. I was really obsessed with all the crossword stuff. Like I just love all that. I can't imagine being able to write that. Like the brain you must have.
It's mental.
Like big props to Steve Pemberton if he wrote that crossword, because like that's insane.
And I think the crossword got like criticism as well for being too easy on the day it showed up in the newspaper. Like, if that's easy, I don't want to see a harder cryptic crossword. You know, I couldn't do that.
I wonder if anyone was really looking at the crossword without knowing it was number 9 and being like finding all the double meanings and like somebody's gonna die.
Yeah, that would really freak you out.
I
was a bit confused at the end when it had the RIP NHS bit. The first time I watched it, just because I didn't clock that was his initials.
Yeah,
and I thought it was talking about the healthcare service.
No.
Which I mean, RIP NHS would still work, I suppose, if we were talking about that.
Oh, that would I did pick up on that, by the way, but I did see NHS and I was like, health service. Oh wait,
I was a little puzzled by that at first.
But yeah, very clever episodes, and probably out of all of them, I'd say the cleverest.
Definitely, I'd say like the twistiest.
Yes.
Like towards the end, it's like a new reveal every second almost.
Yes. One that I randomly think my granddad would quite enjoy for some reason.
Probably, yeah.
He likes that kind of puzzle kind of. He loves a crossword and he loves like puzzles and stuff. So I feel like he would really like that one.
Yeah.
Also, I've got a question for you, and I don't know this, but I had this amazing idea. Right? Is there an Inside Number 9 episode set in an escape room?
Yes.
There is. Okay.
Yeah, season 9.
See, if they didn't, they missed a trick.
Yeah. By the way, that episode is really good, the one in the escape room.
What's it called?
Control Alt Escape in season 9.
Okay.
One of the best episodes.
I was going to say, if they didn't do that, they missed a trick, because that is such a good idea for an episode. But yeah, Riddle of Sphinx is great. I've got it as a 10 out of 10.
I've got it at an 8, but high 8.
Yep.
Definitely.
And I think probably evilest character, probably Reece Shearsmith.
Oh, it's gotta be Reece. I mean, Steve in this one is also a really horrible person.
They're all kind of bad people.
Yeah, I think the girl's the most innocent, because at the end of the day, she thinks that Reece is her father, and her father's kind of set her up to do this whole like, oh, let's get revenge for your dead brother thing. And I'll come in and give you the antidote and everything, and it'll be okay.
Yeah.
And she ends up getting betrayed by a person she thinks is her father, getting kind of sexually assaulted almost by her real father, and then getting killed off in a really horrible way where she's totally paralyzed. It's horrible.
Yep.
And I think, Reece is the most evil character, although Steve obviously is no angel either.
Yes, agreed.
But Reece is horrible in this one. Just an absolutely evil mastermind.
For sure. Okay, moving on.
Then we've got Empty Orchestra. Now, I'm gonna air my controversial opinion here. I really love Empty Orchestra. I love this episode. I don't think it's a favorite, but I really enjoy Empty Orchestra.
One of the only ones that hasn't really got a massive twist.
Yeah, and I really like it for that. It's a happy episode that has a happy ending.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of normal. It's just normal people.
You know what? I liked Empty Orchestra. I kind of liked how it almost felt like a kind of sitcom.
Yeah.
Kind of scenario. Thought it was really funny. Loved the guy coming in with like 8 pills, and he's like, pill roulette.
Yeah, I wish that kind of went somewhere with them all having the effects of the pills, but
I thought
it's kind of funny that they weren't.
I thought that's where it was going to go.
Yeah.
And then I laughed at the bit where he was like, they were all Tic Tacs anyway. I'm like, oh, that's so funny.
I think the girl that plays the Amy Winehouse character is horrible. I mean, not the girl that plays her. I mean, the character. I'm sure the actress is lovely.
Great representation of a deaf character.
Yeah, she's
in an
brilliant.
episode. She's fantastic.
She's
And
really sympathetic in this episode as
I
well.
loved the whole bit where she was like placing her hands on the speakers and
Yeah,
stuff to hear the music,
and
and at the end where she places it on
I
his
was gonna
heart.
say the end scene is really fantastic and one of my favorite scenes in the whole show is when
Yeah,
she puts his hand on her heart.
it's clever.
Or
It's
the
very
other way
clever.
around.
Again, it's one of those ones where I'm like, I don't really see a point, but I kind of feel like the point is there's no point in a
Yeah,
weird way.
and I
It's just
think
kind of a random kind of sitcom, kind of recent
yeah,
Steve having a bit of fun.
and I think in season 3 it kind of works because that episode is really quite or that season even is quite dark with the Devil of Christmas and Riddle of the Sphinx
Yeah,
and Private View and all that, and it kind of makes sense to have a more light-hearted episode thrown in, just as a bit
for
of a
sure,
break from that,
for sure.
and has a great ending as well.
Yeah, yeah. I do like Empty Orchestra. I did kind of, because the whole thing it's built around is the boss is letting someone go,
Yeah,
and I did kind of think the twist is it'll be he's letting himself go and he'll be
yeah,
promoting someone. Like
yeah,
it'll not be a let it'll be a promotion kind of thing.
yeah.
And I kind of called that early. But that didn't take. I feel like it because they didn't put a big emphasis on it being a big twist.
Mhm.
I don't think it really mattered.
Yeah, exactly. I
The
think it's
difference
just
between that and like say the trial of Elizabeth Gadge, which I didn't like the twist of as much, as they put real emphasis on the
yeah,
twist.
and it kinda
Whereas
hinges
this,
on that.
it's just kind of like throwaway, and it's just kind of fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good time. I've got it as a 7 out of 10.
I've got an 8. I think it's the most underrated episode of the whole show, possibly.
Wow.
And
Okay.
to be fair, it's not one I feel inclined to rewatch, but I just really enjoyed it when I watched it.
Yeah.
Uh, and also, I really like the joke of like Reese's character trying to get a Gangnam Style costume, but all he can get is a sumo wrestler. So
Yeah. It's funny. It's really fun. I love Steve Pemberton when he comes in as just his work gear and then just puts
yeah,
on a little red nose.
yeah,
It's his
right.
costume.
Love Ed Orchestra.
What does this is just me being curious. What does your parents or your dad think of that one?
Yeah, I've not shown it to my mum, but my dad liked it as well.
Okay.
He really enjoyed it.
Okay. I feel like it's another one you could show to somebody just as a kind of
Yeah,
one-off kind of.
yeah,
I don't think it would give them a good idea on what the show's like. But
yeah.
like it's just kind of a fun 30 minutes sitcom kind of style thing.
Mhm.
You could
Uh,
definitely show it to
yeah,
someone.
and I like how the songs kind of reflect the people that choose them as well.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think, yeah, really, really well done episode. And
definitely.
congratulations is really funny. Oh, and
Yeah.
one thing about Riddle of the Sphinx, rewatching it, there's a line I really liked where she said, "It's wetter than a nun's cucumber out there." I really like that.
That's funny.
Yeah. In terms of most
Okay.
evil character in MT
Okay, yeah.
Orchestra, probably not really anyone specifically, but probably the Amy Winehouse.
Amy
Girl.
Winehouse or Reese Shearsmith, simply because he's
Yeah,
cheating.
yeah. But I think because Amy Winehouse is one he's cheating with, and also she really bullies the deaf character a lot, I think she's just more hateable. But both of
Yeah,
them kind of get their comeuppance by the end.
for sure, for sure.
And
Okay.
then we've got Diddle Diddle Dumpling.
Diddle Diddle Dumpling.
Love this episode.
Okay.
I'm a big fan.
So yeah, I liked the concept.
Mhm.
Kind of strange Tom and Jerry vibes from it from
Yeah.
season 1. This guy kind of becoming obsessed with this shoe. He finds a
Yeah.
shoe and basically has to track down the owner
Mhm.
of the shoe and becoming like really obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Good concept for an episode. In execution, it's good to the most part.
Mm.
There was something I felt missing about it.
I kind of get that, but I really love the reveal at the end. Big spoiler warning. The reveal at the end. He had 2 twins and he lost one of them, and since then he's kind of just obsessed with pairs and
Yep.
things being together. And the ending is really disturbing, I think, because it kind of implies, obviously he's killed Matthew Bainton's character as an implication, but also that he killed his daughter so that she could be with her brother, which I
Mhm.
think is really disturbing.
Yep.
It's not confirmed, but that definitely seems to be the kind of implication that
and he
they're going
also
for.
was the one that placed the shoe there,
Yeah, I like
which is
that as
also a
well.
bit mad. He almost like set it all off.
Yeah.
Almost giving him an excuse to like fixate over this thing.
Mhm.
Clever
not
twist. Defo
Yeah.
clever twist.
It's not an
I just
episode that stands out as being particularly comedic,
mhm.
but there is one really funny scene where he has a poster and it says "Black Man's Shoe" on it. It's really
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it's another one similar to the 12 Days of Christine that I feel like I would miss the whole mystery aspect of it on a rewatch.
Mm.
I feel like if I were to watch it again, I wouldn't get as much out of it.
So,
I did think there's a scene that I really loved, and it's when the daughter sings the song.
yeah.
Diddle Diddle Dumpling. I thought that was really quite haunting in a way.
Mhm.
It was really well done. But the twist is good. There was just a little something missing from the episode. I couldn't really put my finger on it.
That's fair enough. I would say it's worth rewatching because even if you look at the first picture we put up on IMDb, you notice throughout the whole house everything's in pairs. You can
That's
see it,
clever.
all the furniture and that. And this is what I was alluding to earlier, is with the hair, they show you the hair up close, so you're like, "Oh, there's the hair," but you don't realize there's two of them on opposite
That's
sides of the
clever.
counter. I think that's cool because they
That's
make
clever.
you think, "Oh, there's the hair. I've spotted it," and you don't catch on there's another one.
I feel like the twist. Personally, I don't want this to come across as like I'm an idiot, but basically, I missed the twist the first time.
Right.
I had to kind of Wikipedia like what the ending was, and once I read it, I was like, "Oh, that makes sense. He's obsessed
Sure.
with pears." But it's
Yeah.
very subtly done.
Mhm.
Like, obviously, I got that he killed Matthew Benton's character and all that stuff, but the whole thing with he's obsessed with pears because he's had a son that died, a twin son that
Yeah.
died. It kind of got lost in me a little bit. It was almost a little bit too subtle, but
Sure.
it was clever. It was very clever. I just wish they'd maybe put a little bit more emphasis on the actual twist.
Okay.
But once I got it, I got it. Like I thought,
like
oh, that's cool.
I like the Shining-esque shot at the end when it zooms into the picture of him with the twins and he's got the shoes on. I
Yeah,
think they should have ended it there instead of having the bonus footage at the end of him placing the shoe outside. I
I
feel
agree.
like
Actually,
zooming in on
yeah,
him wearing the shoes and you can kind of figure it out from there.
yep. Yeah, quite a haunting final image.
Yeah, for sure. And in
Yeah.
terms, I want to just say Keely Hawes is really good in it, by the way.
The
I
full
think she's
cast in it
great.
are great.
Yeah, once again, good child actor.
Yep. Who's Steve Pemberton's just like in one scene, right? As
Yeah,
kind of
he's
his
like,
boss.
yeah, and he doesn't do much for the plot, but it is a good scene where we kind of time him, see how long he can go without mentioning the shoe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good episode. I've got it as a 7.
I've got an 8, very high
Okay.
8, closer to 9 than a 7.
Okay.
One thing, let's say, most evil character is once again Reese's character. I'd venture to say, but you do feel bad for him at the same time. Like
Yeah,
this obsession has completely destroyed his life, and you
yeah,
feel really bad for him and the people around him, and
yeah,
it's kind of out of his control. But he also kills people, so
yeah,
yeah,
for sure. Yeah, solid episode. Really like the twist. I think the twist is
yeah,
cool.
it's a good
But
twist.
again, like 12 Days of Christine, I think because it's all set up around this twist at the end, I feel like something would be a bit lost in me if I were watching it.
Sure. Okay, and then
And
finally,
the last
ending off
one.
season 3, we've got Private View. Unfortunately, it's my least favorite episode of season 3. I hate to say it. I love a murder
What?
mystery, but yeah, I love a murder mystery. But do you know what I don't like about this episode at all,
Mm,
and where it really falls apart is the
mm.
ending.
Yeah.
The ending of this episode is really poor in my opinion. So it ends with him being tied to the chair, and she's gonna take, what is it, his brain or his
Yeah.
heart?
No,
She's gonna
he's
take his
heart.
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 She's gonna take his heart out, and then it cuts to the end, and or it cuts to black, and then we see TV report, and it's like, oh, here's a big art exhibit, and and then he's presenting it, and he took her heart is the twist at the end, and it's like, okay, but how did he get out of her? Like they kind of cut to him, the rope around his arm kind of slackening a bit, but it feels a bit too like, oh no, he actually did escape, but we don't get to see that at all. Though.
That's fair. I personally quite like the twist at the end. I liked the whole he kind of then went and kind of done the art exhibit.
Yeah, like taking credit for it. I get that. It feels, I don't know if it feels totally in character, but I can see him doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also kind of like when she's like telling him the like basically her son was, again, spoiler warning everyone, her son was basically gave all his like his kidney and his liver and his heart and all away when he died.
Sure.
And basically everyone at this art exhibit has got a bit of her son in him.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
But they're all basically wasting it away. So like the guy who's got his lung is still smoking and blah blah blah. And I guess Reece Shearsmith, like when she's telling him this, kind of is like, oh, that's actually I kind of like that. Like that's what I got from it. Like he's like, oh, that's kind of cool because he has an art critic.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then he took her heart and kind of completed the exhibition. And a great final line where she's like, you must have put your heart into this. And like, not quite.
I just think I think the ending's just the weakest part because of he just conveniently manages to escape and overpower her, and then
that's fair.
Take credit. It just feels a bit.
It would have been cool if they showed how he managed to.
And I think I've heard they planned on, but they had to cut it for time.
That's fair.
So they just kind of show the rope slackening a bit.
I like the vibe of it. I got real Saw vibes.
Sure.
Especially with the whole, they've got like a bit of her son, and they're still like wasting that bit.
Yeah, I got a bit of a Jigsaw vibe from that. Yeah, I think I love the opening with Peter Kay. It's very traditional murder mystery. Oh, what are you doing here? And getting killed off, from a killer's perspective.
Yeah, I love Peter Kay. So
it's funny when he shows up.
Yeah,
and Fiona Shaw is also really good.
Yeah, the whole cast are great.
But she specifically is really good in it, I think.
Yeah, Fiona Shaw's excellent in it. I think Steve Pemberton's really good in it as well, to be honest.
Yeah, I think he always looks good when he has a ponytail. I think I always see him.
Yeah. I really like the vibe of this one. I got real good Saw vibes. And I personally quite like the twist. I especially like the whole twist with basically there's a bit of her son in every person. I like that.
Sure. Yeah, I do. I like that part.
But I get how it kind of maybe feels a bit cheap.
Yeah, that's how I felt. I felt like it was a bit like cheated out of the proper ending.
That's fair. Most evil character has to be Fiona Shaw's character.
I mean, Reece is also quite bad for taking credit for the whole thing, but it's like she also killed all these people though, so
I've got it as an 8 out of 10.
I've got it as 7. It is closer to an 8 than a 6 because I like the characters in it, and I like most of it. I really like the scene in the bathroom. When he finds her in the bathroom, and then her eyes are taken out.
I like the bit where she kills her and then is like, huh, and then starts screaming. It's cool. It's cool.
And the influencer character is pretty funny, I think.
Yeah, she's funny in it.
Like she's just a total clout chaser.
Yeah. I thought the full cast were like excellent.
Yeah.
The full cast, I think, in every episode is just great.
Brilliant.
They're really well cast. But yeah, that's us done.
Season 3. Finally, oh my god.
Yeah, we've been chatting for a while.
Oh, we should probably just cut the whole catch a bit. But yeah, that's season 3 of Inside Number 9 done. Season 3, probably my second favorite season of the whole show.
Okay.
Season 4 is my favorite, I think, and then 3 and then 2. Yeah.
Fair.
I mean, peaks quite early, I guess, but
yeah. I think season 3 is probably the best that I've watched so far. Like out of 1, 2, and 3, it's definitely the best.
It's just consistently good the whole way through.
Yeah,
even episodes that I don't love, like I don't love the Bill as much as everyone else does, but I still really like it.
Yeah, fair. So yeah, we'll do another episode of us talking about seasons 4, 5, and 6 once I've watched them, which should be soon.
Yeah.
And then also another episode of 7, 8, and 9. So that'll be good.
Looking forward to it.
Hope you have all enjoyed this episode of.
Me too.
I was going to say this episode of Inside Number 9. This episode of the Popcorn Podcast.
It's a shame this is episode 10.
Oh, true. I never thought about that.
That's a shame.
Well, doesn't matter.
Inside
we'll do
episode
something.
10.
We'll do something for the 50th.
Why do you get really dramatic about it? What's going on?
Because 50 is like so far away.
Oh, right. No, it's just because like it should be episode 9, not 10.
Oh, I thought you meant because it's like the 10th anniversary, Fergus.
No. We should have done this last episode, is what I mean.
Oh, true. I get you. But yeah, let us know down in the comments what your favorite episode of Inside Number 9 is.
Yes, please.
That would be good to hear.
Hopefully, it's the Devil of Christmas.
Your favorite episode of the first 3 seasons.
Sure.
Let's do that.
And all of them if you want. I don't know.
Yeah. Rank every episode down in the comments below.
Yeah, all 55 of them.
Yep. So thank you everyone.
What are we doing next week?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'll think of something.
Sure. Okay.
But it'll be fun. I'll cook something up, Fergus. Don't you worry.
I have trust in you.
Thank you, Fergus. So thank you everyone for watching / listening to this episode of the Popcorn Podcast. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, all that jazz. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.